Hello. How's everybody doing? I'm live. Chat's working. Everything's good. I look good. I feel good. I hope you feel good as well. It's Tuesday, I think. Tuesday somewhere. Don't know. Don't care. Didn't ask. Here to talk about Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. A topic that I've been alluding to on and off, I feel. I just realized I turned my AC off, but I forgot to turn my fans off. Will he ever remember to turn the fans on before starting a stream? Find out next time on youtube.com/D'Angelo. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna turn on this fan right here, and I'm gonna turn on the overhead fan. I've officially cranked the fans up because it is getting hotter outside, and I don't love that for me. But anyways, I'm here. Someone said, I can't believe I caught you as live as I could. I'm glad you're here. You're literally just in time. Yeah, so if, by the way, this is your first time catching one of my streams, for any of you out there, I'll tell you how it's going to go. The first 30 minutes or so are exactly what you're getting now, which is literally just a yap session. And then around 30 minutes in, that's when we will start talking about the main topic of the day. Today, that happens to be... Sorry. I literally get so excited anytime that we get to talk about movies for any reason. You all know I love me some film discourse. You know I went to school for this, which didn't help me or contribute meaningfully to my ability to discuss this at all. I basically learned nothing in school despite my professor's best attempts, but that's okay. I'm still going to do my best. People are literally upset about everything over this film, and by upset I mean mad in a way where it doesn't matter, because it's literally just like some people complaining on Reddit. But I feel like maybe 75% of the discourse is completely stupid, but there is 25% that I do agree with. I have some nitpicks and problems about this movie, even though it's not out as well. So I figured we would just take a look at every single thing that people are mad about, from the casting to the costumes to the set design to the visuals to the audio to the accents to like the translation used as a basis for the script. It literally, it's been a while since I've seen people so up in arms about so many different aspects of a film before it's even out. So let's go. Someone said D'Angelo dropped the skincare routine. Daily washes, obviously at least twice a day, and any time that I find it getting overly greasy, especially after eating greasy food, my face tends to get greasy really quickly. I just use CeraVe facial foaming cleanser, and in the morning, when I remember, apply vitamin C brightening serum. Brightening, not lightening. I ain't trying to get lighter. I like my skin tone quite a bit, but why not even out what we can? So yes, vitamin C is pretty useful, and then of course I follow that up with SPF. Just, I don't know. It's literally just moisturizer. Why was that word so hard for me to remember? I actually don't use CeraVe vitamin C. I forget what the brand I use. Oh, I think it's Cetaphil. I use Cetaphil vitamin C serum, which is really nice. It comes with like the little drop applicator, and it feels fun to put on. It's super cold. And then I just I think my CeraVe facial moisturizer for the AM is like SPF 30, 50, something like that. Anyways, throughout the day, a large part of my skincare routine is drinking water. I always try to make sure I drink at least 8 cups of water a day. I mean, that just helps with literally everything. And I know that like the science on this changes, and 8 might not be the right number. Maybe it's more or less. I don't remember or care. 8 works for me. And I try not to touch my face, even though I'm pretty bad about that. But yeah, stop touching your face. And then at night, it's just kind of like an inverse of my skincare routine. I mean, that is when I will handle any sort of like breakout spots. I actually don't have any right now, which I'm very happy about. But yeah, if I had any pimples or anything, that's when I would probably whip out like a hydrocolloid patch, cover those. Sometimes I will use benzoyl peroxide if I feel like it's pretty aggressive, or like spreading, which happens sometimes with my acne, which is really cringe. And then, yeah, I mean, obviously, like I wash my face first, and then every night, no matter what I have going on, I will apply my retinol resurfacing serum. I get that from CeraVe as well. And then I follow that up with a PM moisturizer. So like that sounds like a lot of things, but it's honestly not. Wake up, wash your face, vitamin C, hydrate, literally via moisture, and then water all day. Don't touch your face. Go to sleep, wash your face again. Put on your retinol and make sure that you're moisturized because that will dry you out, honestly, and take care of any problem areas. Done. It's been working out for me really well, and I feel like my skin is actually getting better and better, which I'm so happy about. Yay! I love it. Someone said I just watched this short about Korean skincare products at Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree, yo, that's fire. Because honestly, skincare products can be so insanely expensive, and I'm not promoting CeraVe. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, but it is nice that they're relative, like compared to how bad skincare prices can get. I feel like CeraVe is pretty decent, which is what I like about them. Someone said, are you a fan of scents and scented candles? I'm very, very picky about them because I sometimes deal with like sensory issues, and there are a lot of like food like scents I struggle with pretty heavy. But things that are just designed to smell like clean, or like laundry smell, whatever that means, or like ocean scent, even though the ocean low-key doesn't smell great, but whatever fake version it is that people put in like little Glade plugins, I like that for sure. I do. Someone says retinol seems to be popular. I want to try it. It works for me, but here's the thing you have to be careful about. It may cause you to purge though, meaning your acne may get worse before it gets better, and it can be kind of a lot depending on the strength of it, so you might not want to be applying it every day. Definitely something that you should search before getting into. Someone said, I'm a fan of The Ordinary, great actives and pricing for skincare. I've heard great things about The Ordinary, for real, for real. I like eucalyptus mint smell. Someone said eucalyptus is such a nice smell. Yes, that's pretty much one of my ideal smells. I guess I just like naturey things, but not food. That's pretty much where I'm at, bro. That's where I'm at. Someone says don't use if you have eczema. Oh yeah, basically nothing I said is medical advice. I get acne like I feel almost everyone else, but I don't have like other skin conditions that would complicate this process for me. So keep that in mind, please. Someone said, D'Angelo, can you grow a lot of facial hair, or is it just your stash? It's literally just right here. I shave it pretty often. I think I shaved it like yesterday or something. But yeah, I have individual hairs that pop up on my cheek or under my chin, which is the bane of my existence because they get really itchy. But like, no, I can't grow a beard and probably won't be able to for a while. I mean, I tell this story all the time, but like when I was a teenager, I wanted a beard. And then they told me, they being the magical internet, was like, when you're 27, you will finally get the beard that you've been looking for. And I was like, okay, I can wait until 27. I was patient as hell. I waited 10 years. And then what happened? My facial hair situation is the exact same as it was when I was a child. So that's okay, though. The good news is I just look so ridiculously stunning with or without facial hair, with or without hair on my head, with or without glasses, full face of makeup, no makeup at all. Just woke up. Like, it's honestly stupid. So it's just my burden to bear, I guess. Someone said get a lace front beard. True. Nothing is stopping me from having the facial hair that I want. Especially like in today's age, it could probably look so good. Y'all would never even know. So beard transplants incoming. Someone said, I finally joined a live stream with one of my ferrets. Well, hello to you and one of your ferrets. That's exciting. Someone said one of your previous mentions about skincare was the kick in the pants. I needed to stick with daily SPF, so thank you. Good, I'm glad, because honestly, I feel like almost all of us could do better with our sunscreen, our UV protection. You know what I mean? The sun, it is a deadly laser. It really, really is. Oh my gosh. Some said, D'Angelo, when are you going to do a live one day with a wig? When will you wear wigs? Someday, don't worry. Also, I got to show you all my new party trick. I'm warning you right now that this is a bit, I don't know what word I want to use. It's a little different. I don't think most people's ears do this, but I'm in my like ear stretching journey thing, and I've come to the giddy conclusion that now with me having like a 10 gauge piercing right here in the conch, and also like these have been stretched as well, that my ears can transmit light through them. Okay. So here's a light source. I'm just gonna put this joint behind my ear. Oh, can you see it? You can see it at the bottom too, which is so fun. That's great. Yeah, there's just totally a hole in my ear. I think this one's even a little bit bigger. Let me see. Oh, okay, I can't see what you're seeing, so I have no idea if this is working. But yeah, I have to stop. Oh, I hit my screen so hard that I reset my camera. Oops. Hold on. Let's try to fix this. I have to stop doing this to people in real life, but I just can't. I'm just like, hey, do you want to see me shine my phone light through my ear? It's so fun. Someone said that's wild. I agree. It's a bit much, actually, but I'm a big fan. Okay, how do you turn your flashlight off? Okay, I fixed it. Someone said I loved when I was first able to see through my piercings. It's so fun. Someone said, oh, you have a face tattoo. I do, or I have what many people consider to be a face tattoo. I don't know. I'm still on the fence, to be quite honest. I feel like it's I don't know. I don't know what I would call it, but I feel like face tattoo just has such like a strong connotation in people's minds where you're like, oh yeah, it's the YouTuber with the face tattoo. And then in your mind you see like Post Malone, but I have a very like low key bit of ink on my face. Oh my gosh. I guess it's a face tattoo. I maybe I'll admit it someday, but not yet. Not yet. I've been in the struggle. Someone said head tattoo. I literally feel like it's a head tattoo on God. I feel like this is my face. And frankly, I personally would not put a tattoo there because I need it to remain the same. It's part of my brand. But this, I was like, dog, that is the side of my head. You could put whatever you want there. And I did. I very much did. Someone said I missed it. Can you turn again? Okay, last chance. My last head/face tattoo demonstration this stream. Me always forgetting what side it's on. It's right here. Okay, great. That's all you get. I hope that was a decent demonstration. Sometimes I'm with you. It's not the face. I don't know. There's some people in my life who don't agree with me, and that's fine. Many of them happen to be in my family. They're like, oh, you got face tattoo, and I'm like, I swear to God, I would never. I mean, I would, to be honest. I actually would, and they know this. But like, it's a compromise. Everything in life is a compromise. Someone said, "Are you wanting to do the other side?" I don't really know. I have this weird thing about asymmetry that I've been enjoying, because with a lot of my body modifications, I prefer symmetry. Like a lot of my torso work is very symmetrical with my tats and stuff, and like obviously I have these labrets, these vertical labrets, which I was so happy that I went to a good piercer who was able to make those very symmetrical for me. But then I have little like bits of asymmetry. Like I have this nostril stud which no one ever sees because it's so small and low key gets like overshadowed by my glasses, but I really love it. I was gonna get the other side done, but then I don't know. I can't make myself do it. I just feel like it's happy by itself. And then the same thing recently when I got this conch piercing, I don't think I'm going to do one on the other side for some reason. So yeah, as far as like the head tattoo, I feel like maybe I'll just leave it. I also have like on my neck, like one over here and nothing over here. So I have no idea why I'm in my asymmetry era. But knowing me, people are asking if it hurt, and I'll tell you in a second. Knowing me though, I tend to like change on a whim, and one day I'll just be like, oh my gosh, my body is so asymmetrical, and I'll just go get everything. Second nostril piercing, identical tats on both heads, another swallow on the side of the other side of my neck. Anyways, as for whether or not this hurt, wrong side. I don't know if I should say this because I feel like I should be dissuading you all, but it didn't really hurt that badly at all. I feel like out of my 41 tattoos, the one on the side of my head, or this kind of like sideburn area, was literally like, I feel like it was in the bottom 5. I'm not gonna lie, in terms of like pain, I was expecting it to be worse. As it got lower, I was getting a little like, oh, it's spicy now, but was mostly fine. Someone said symmetrical tats on the side of your head might look too much like sideburns. True, but at that point, I would just get my entire head done. You know what? Just full head of tatted nonsense. Why not? Honestly. Someone said 41. I only got 13. 41, you finally counted. Yeah, I would like to say, just as an influencer, like, don't do many of the things that I do, especially not as your first. I don't think many of you were rushing out to go get tatted or pierced just because you saw me, but on the off chance that someone's watching this and they're like, yeah, this is a great idea. No, it's not. It's not a great idea to just get facial piercings and, you know, tats near your temple and stuff like that if you're not like kind of down with the program. But I did my research. I put my time in. I really did, dog. I really did. Someone said, I love the idea of full head tats. I feel like that's what my head was made for. I really do. Just like a full design across the dome. Like, I don't know what it would be yet, which is obviously why I haven't done anything. But once I figure it out, I'm just doing that joint for real. Someone said, think before you ink. Someone said, you're not my supervisor. Listen, if it was up to me, we would all just do whatever we want all the time. I actually wish I could see more weird or like very forward body mods, frankly, because I feel like the more we normalize it, the better. But like, sadly, we also have to deal with other people's expectations and nonsense garbage that they put on you. There's so much like stigma attached to like face tattoos as well. It's really insane. Like, people will say that you're a drug addict, or that you're having some sort of mental health crisis, or that you're like, I don't know, constantly high, which, first of all, who can afford to be constantly not in this society? But anyways, what else do people say about you? Oh, that you're impulsive, you make bad financial decisions. Did I say that one already? Basically that you're just like trash, I guess, is a lot of people's take on them. And I'm like, that's fine, but I'm probably going to get more, so I don't know what to tell any of you. I don't know. Someone said you've decided to be a lifelong baldy baddie. No, I've committed to being bald for a while now, probably a few more years, at least long enough to get my entire head tatted. But at some point, just for the laughs, I will then grow out my hair again and cover all of the tattoo work long enough for people to not remember that I have them, because with my hair texture, it would basically disappear, and then I'm going to shave it all again, and everyone's going to be like, what the helly? So that'll be fun. Someone says, I'm disabled and balding, I might as well get a full head tattoo and rep for the community. Dude, like, head tats are so underrated. I swear to God, they underrated as hell. They really are. Someone says, my favorite thing is when people ask how they'll look when I'm older. Like, still cool as hell, probably. I will never understand the question of like, oh, well, didn't you think about how this is going to look when you're older? Baby, one day we're all going to be old. Okay, so there's Sally over there, and she looks 80, and here I am, D'Angelo, and I look 80, and also, like, at one point in my life, I was into body modification. What's the difference? I think at that point, I may have bigger things to worry about, like, why am I still alive? Why are we still here? Just to suffer? That sounds really bad towards 80-year-olds. That would just be me. I think I would get tired at that point. I would probably have to start another life at age 80, just out of sheer boredom. Otherwise, like, dog, I'm over it. I'm really over it. Someone said old people with tattoos rule. Exactly. Like, they look cool anyway. Also, one thing. Why am I ranting about tattoos? Okay, sorry. Maybe this is the last thing I'll say. But one thing that I think that people just don't realize is there are a lot more older people with tattoos than you think. A lot of the people that I've gotten work from are older. You know what I mean? People don't just suddenly disappear just because they made choices when they were younger or whatever. And I think, like, me going to tattoo conventions and hanging out in tattoo shops all the time, I have seen so many people in their 50s, 60s. I don't know about, no, totally their 70s that have tattoos, and they look like very normal. They just look like older humans with tats. So I don't know what people think. Like, I'm gonna hate myself suddenly. I don't know. It's silly to me, dog. It's silly. Someone said they're acting like wrinkly skin is even acceptable on its own. What's the difference with tats on it? It's just skin. I think that's the main thing that like people who don't understand tats will never really like understand. It's just skin. That's how I feel about like everything that I've quote unquote done to myself. I don't view it as that big of a deal at all whatsoever. It's literally just skin, and it will always just be something on the very outside of me. Yes, they can mean things to me or be symbolic or whatever, but at the end of the day, like, it's not, I haven't changed anything. It's not that big of a deal. Anyway, someone said my coffee is so good right now. Oh, coffee sounds great. That reminds me, I need to keep hydrated. I'm remaining hydrated during this stream. Someone said they say the same to people who don't want children. Oh, that is super cringe though, of like you saying you don't want kids and then people will chime in with a vengeance. They will like fly in like flying monkeys and be like, oh my gosh, what about when you're older? Are you going to be lonely? No, Jonathan, I'm going to have friends. Why can't you imagine yourself with a social life at an older age? Granted though, we do leave our elders pretty horrifically lonely. I'm not going to lie to you though. Like, having a child is not the actual correct answer to solve that. And as much as we talk about like male loneliness and other comedically fictional concepts, I do believe there's like an elder loneliness epidemic. So I don't want to be sad and alone when I'm older, even though society really tries to push you in that direction. But I'm just letting you know, I'm never going to let that happen. If it has to be me and all of my aging besties just popping out on a Thursday or popping in because maybe we're just a little too old for that, it will be. I'm not going to be all alone just because I never had children. So thanks. Also, you can just get like cats and stuff. So many people do. Someone said my kid is 22. I told him he shouldn't want kids now. Look, if you're 22 and you have kids, keep going. But if you're 22 and you don't have kids, I will be like, you don't gotta have those. You definitely do not have to be in a rush to do that. You really, really don't. Someone said give the elderly pets. Honestly, that would be cute. Someone said I work in social gerontology, sorry. And there is 100% a loneliness epidemic. It's hard for folks to adjust to so much of life being online now. Yeah, it does make me sad when I think about how older people are just kind of like cast to the side, or like they get treated as like burdens and stuff, because then a lot of times they will need like welfare and stuff, whether they're retired or like for their health. And I just think all of that's pretty awful. It reminds me of like The Giver. Have you ever read that book or watched that movie, which I think has Taylor Swift in it? Excuse me, unless that's some sort of fever dream. But like, that's a pretty dystopian take on how society treats those that it deems to be no longer necessary, which is absolutely not true of older people, but it's pretty much a reflection of real life, unfortunately. Someone said it's ableism. Oh yeah, for sure. It 100% is as well. Ableism, ageism, a bunch of things happening at once. Someone said The Giver mentioned. Dog, I love The Giver. I read the book and I watched the movie. Who plays the lead kid in that movie? Is that Asa Butterfield? Hold on, because I'm going to have to Google that. I feel like it's Asa Butterfield, who is a person that I feel like disappeared from the face of the earth for some reason, which is fine if that's his prerogative. Hold on, I'm trying to boot it up. I feel like before my computer turns on, somebody in the comments will just be like, oh, it was this person. Okay, hold on. What's new in Microsoft Edge? I could not care less, to be quite honest. The Giver 2014 starred... Oh, no, it was Brenton Thwaites? What? I feel like this person disappeared even harder than Asa Butterfield. Hold on, wait. Let me sign out of this real fast. Okay, yeah, what? I pressed the wrong button. Who is this? Does he still work? I mean, he was Australian? I didn't know that. Yeah, I swear to God, there's so many people like this where... Is this actually him? Or did I pull the wrong person? No, this is totally him. Wait, people are saying it's Josh Hutcherson. It was not Josh Hutcherson. Was it? No, I think it's this guy right here who is like 36 now. Is that on God? Something about that seems off. Or maybe this movie just came out longer ago than I remembered. I guess technically it did come out in 2014, which was like 12 years ago, which is very unfortunate to think about. But yeah, shout out Brenton, unless he sucks, in which case don't shout him out. Oh my gosh, someone said not Josh Hutcherson. It definitely was not Josh Hutcherson. But yeah, I swear to God that even if I misremembered Asa Butterfield, Taylor Swift is absolutely in The Giver 2014. Like, I'm not making this up. Oh, yeah. Here she is. Taylor, what are you doing here? This is so funny. Literally one of the most random appearances of all time. I think if I remember correctly, the only thing she did is play the piano, which is very, very on brand for her. But that was funny. And she's in the Lorax. She's also in the Lorax. That I do remember very vividly. I think. I don't remember anything vividly, to be quite honest. And you could say, D'Angelo, your entire conception of the last 27 years has been an illusion. Yeah, she played the girl that the boy was like. I actually don't remember. Did they have a thing? It's like he had a crush on her, but it was harmless because like she was older, obviously, and didn't see him that way or something. I genuinely don't remember. When did this movie come out? I'm going to start screaming and crying if you say it's more than... I can accept this movie being 10 years old, but I can't accept it being 15 years old. So I'm going to check. The Lorax release date. Oh, that's not what I thought it was. Oh. It's 14 years old. I'm gonna crash out. I'm literally going to crash out. Like, this movie can't be 14 years old because I remember watching it in theaters recently when I was a kid, which wasn't that long ago. I'm pretty sure I watched this movie in theaters when I was 14, which could not have been 14 years ago. Yes, I'm turning 28 in the next month, but oh man, yeah, I hate that for me, honestly, chat. I hate it here. But it is what it is. Someone said, wasn't Betty White in it too? She was. Yeah, she really was. Anyways, moving on from this. Shout out Betty White for real, dude. Like, she was so iconic. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my outline. Someone said, I wanted JoJo's aesthetic from that movie. Same. In fact, one could argue that high-key... low-key, high-key, I still have this aesthetic. Just looking like a ridiculous emo Whoville resident. I think ever since... Oh, snap. We got... What is this? Trans JoJo rep? I support that. Ever since I saw this as a child, I do think it left a very deep impact on me. And I was like, yes, obviously, this is how I want the world to see me. And alas, we're still here. Next time I wear a black striped anything, which I do quite often, I will do it in honor of JoJo from the Lorax. Someone said I just joined. Of all things for you to join on, hi and welcome. All right, I'm going to close off this for real. Now I'm going to open my outline, I swear. Y'all keep saying funny things and distracting me. Someone said I joined at a peak moment. Dude, on God, like, The Lorax was just pure Kino. That was honestly a good movie. I genuinely, usually, don't even go for musicals like that, but there's something about that one that is just chef's kiss. All right. That and Hoodwinked. One of my favorite musicals. Also, Rio's not bad. Does anybody remember that movie? Sorry. He's distracted, chat. I swear to God. Oh, God, we're talking about another 15-year-old movie here. I wanted to hate this movie. That's the second one. I wanted to hate this movie really, really bad when I was a kid, but then like I was made to watch it. I think because my younger siblings were interested in it, and like low key, that became one of my favorite movies as a kid, and I don't know why. It's really nice. It's like the music is amazing. The animation was actually very beautiful for the time, and I think it still holds up really well, to be honest. And it's got Anne Hathaway in it. I mean, come on. You can't get much more fun than that. Someone said the dance scene is iconic. There's a lot of really great musical moments in that one for sure. All right. The Odyssey. All right. Well, we've got our outline. Let me drink some water, and I'll just go ahead and get us started. Okay, hold on. Someone said who remembers Over the Hedge. Oh, now we're getting too in the weeds, but that was one of my faves as well. Everybody say hi. I'm hitting record now. Start recording. Everybody say hello to YouTube because we're doing an intro. Also, I guess it was fitting chat because like we're talking about movies and now we're talking about a movie. In a stunning move never before seen online, people are really angry at a movie that hasn't even come out yet. Bet you didn't expect that one. Christopher Nolan, acclaimed director, his film The Odyssey is releasing soon, and I'm being quite honest, I don't think I've seen people this worked up over every single aspect of a movie ever. From the costumes to the casting to the literal source material, everyone seems to have something to say about this one, and I would say 95% of it is just dumb as hell. I'm not going to lie to you. But there are aspects of this that I would have to agree with. So let's just take a look at all of the Odyssey controversy and find the good, the bad, and the stupid. That was so nice. I liked that one. Okay, thank you. Someone said hi, GayTube. Yes, let's go. Wait, no, that sounds a little like a different kind of website. All right, let's see. I'm going to pull... Let's just start with Christopher Nolan's filmography. I always feel like I have to give a disclaimer before I talk about Christopher Nolan because at one point I was a super fan. I went to school a long time ago for movie-ish related things, mass communication, concentration, digital. It was very boring, but I stayed writing papers on Christopher Nolan because at one point I thought he was just like this super genius. I was kind of falling for the myth of the auteur. But that being said, let's take a look at his past work. All right, so I'm gonna scroll down. Someone said Nolan is okay. I think Nolan is okay is a very normal take on him. Yes. If you'd asked me 10 years ago, I would have told you he was the greatest director since Jesus, actually. So the Batman, Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy, I know was probably many people's intro to him, unless you were a Memento fan or something. I loved these movies as a kid. The Dark Knight, obviously, was just incredible. Man of Steel, I'm not going to lie to you. Wait, no, he didn't direct that, so I'm skipping that. He was just a producer. Inception pretty much was like my favorite movie. I'm looking at the release date and I'm pretty sure I was 12. I think that had something to do with it, but I still maintain it's a pretty fun entry into his filmography. Interstellar, after that one came out, then that was my favorite movie. And it's still one of my favorites to this day for sure. I never watched Dunkirk, if I'm being honest, because I'm just not really into like this war kind of drama type thing. Tenet, I think, was when I realized that Christopher Nolan was not God. And that was actually a very helpful realization for me. I became a lot less parasocial after that because I was just like, I don't like this movie. I did watch it multiple times in an attempt to understand it, and it just didn't work out for me. And then I kind of skipped Oppenheimer because I wasn't really that into the subject matter. Don't tell people during Barbenheimer I played into the hype, but then I only watched the Barbie movie because I'm sorry, you just can't get me to sit through that. And now that brings us to The Odyssey, which has... Oh, hold on. Let me zoom back out. Okay, great. The Odyssey, which has kicked up so much pre-release discourse that you can just Google the Odyssey controversy and get articles from Encyclopedia Britannica, the BBC, why the Odyssey has caused so much controversy. Someone said Dunkirk is his best. Maybe I just need to watch it. Because I feel like a lot of people say that. I just struggle, dog. Hold on. First digression. I struggle with World War II as subject matter so much. World War II and also the American Civil War, I will literally never, ever watch or consume any content, any media, usually, about the American Civil War ever. Because I really, really hate... he shouldn't say hate. It's just not one of my favorite... no. And I feel the same way about World War II as well, where I'm just like, dog, I don't want to watch. I don't want to watch a World War II movie. I'm sorry. There are other historical periods that I like a lot for some reason. Any of the mini feudal Japan eras I think are pretty cool. What else? Like, I guess like the civil rights movement's pretty dope and I feel like has been unexplored here in America. So it's not even like I'm a history hater. There's just certain periods of history that I'm over it, dog. I'm done. Goodbye. Someone said I don't watch the Revolutionary War either. That is fair to me. It really, really is. Someone said I don't watch Civil War films. Yeah, no. Anyways, sorry. Just my little 2 cents, which is not necessary. So if you were to go through any of these articles, it's basically all saying the same thing. And the conclusion I've come to, I won't lie to you, some of this is dramatically overblown, and I don't even think people are really upset about it. And then other parts of it, I do think are worthy conversations of having. So I guess let's just go ahead and start with the casting. I'm sure that's why half of you are here anyway. All right. I'm trying to think of what order I want to tackle the cast in. My wording on that was kind of weird. But so the Odyssey is based off of Greek mythology, right? And one of the things that people are... I'm trying to think of this. Okay, hold on. I'm just going to say it like this. The issue I run into when I start talking about the casting of this film, half of the people talking about this are racist as hell. They really are. And it's very loud. It's very ugly. And then also you have people bringing up other things that I think are valid things to point out. So I'll start with like the more valid concerns. First of all, one thing I see a lot of people saying is like, hey, we are just kind of tired of the A-list of it all. And you know what? I agree. Listen, I actually genuinely enjoy the work of Tom Holland and Zendaya. I'm not angry that they're in this movie along with Anne Hathaway, Matt Damon, all of these other big name actors. But when people do express that they're kind of tired of hearing about literally the same, 10 or 20 people in every single film, I don't blame them because I feel the same way sometimes. So I feel like that's fair. As long as you're not being hateful towards these people, it's all right to be like, oh my God, another one. Let's see. Pulling this right here. Another thing. Hold on. I want to pull the representation thing that people are talking about. Another thing that a lot of people are saying, which I'm like, oh no, that's a point, is it is interesting to get yet another movie that is based off of a Greek epic that doesn't seem to have any prominent Greek actors in it in any capacity. According to Britannica, unless maybe we're missing something, it says Michael Flamis, who has been cast in an undisclosed supporting role, is the only confirmed actor of Greek descent in the film. And they kind of point out Hollywood does this all the time. Greek representation in like the 1954 Ulysses, Jason and the Argonauts in the 60s, Troy 2004, Clash of the Titans, both the 80s version and the remake, Immortals, Hercules, etc. I feel like I understand that as a critic. Someone said, imagine getting offended over a 3,000-year-old classic Greek literature. Not the spamming in the chat. It's okay, my mods got it. Also, if you ever see anything weird happening in chat and it takes the mods a second, give them some leeway because sometimes there is a delay, which is really annoying, but it's okay. We've got it. Someone said thanks, mods. The mods are literally trying their best, dog. It ain't easy out here because people are just so stupid. They really, really are. Someone said low-key, every time I see a prolific actor in a main role, no hate to them, but it really turns me off from a movie. I want to see more diversity. Yeah, no, that's, to me, a fair thing to say about the cast. Anyways, going back to this. But yeah, these are conversations that I don't feel are like coming from a horrific place. I think when you start having conversations along the lines of, hey, let's single out Lupita Nyong'o and pretend that she's ugly. Let's single out Elliot Page and pretend that he can't play a warrior because he's a non-binary transgender man. That's when I'm like, okay, hold on. Some of you guys are just being bigots, I think. Pulling this right here. So we'll start with Lupita Nyong'o. On group. So found at the scene of literally every crime when it comes to online discourse with rancid vibes. Surprise, surprise. Elon Musk claims the Odyssey's Christopher Nolan cast Lupita Nyong'o as Helen of Troy because, quote, he wants awards, which I'm so tired of this discourse, dog. Let's just go ahead and get into it. So Lupita, who is just literally objectively known for being one of the more beautiful actresses, or one of the most like stunning faces in Hollywood, is how I would put that. If we're going to sit here and pretend like we're casting her as a beautiful character, specifically as awards bait, that's fine. If we're going to pretend actually like, no, society really loves seeing black people crushing it, it's more likely to get people to enjoy your movie. Whatever, bro. But like, going back to, wait, where did my, oh, it's this Deadline article right here. But when we start getting into idiots like Matt Walsh saying not one person on the planet actually thinks that Lupita Nyong'o is, quote, the most beautiful woman in the world. Chat, she might not be your number one, but I quite literally know of multiple people who think that Lupita Nyong'o is the most beautiful woman in the world. I swear to God, this is actually a somewhat common opinion. But okay, we'll take it from conservative world. Christopher Nolan knows that he would be called racist if he gave, quote, the most beautiful woman role to a white woman. Nolan is technically talented, but a coward too. And Elon Musk is here signal boosting this, saying true. I just, again, always hopping from racist post to racist post. I bet probably I'm going to get people in the comments saying, well, D'Angelo, how is it racist if somebody's saying they don't agree with this casting choice? And I'm not even going to sit here and explain the framing of this. Someone else who even knows is on Twitter saying, why is he, like so many other directors, so keen to race swap white characters because of quotas and awards? And Elon says he wants the awards. So yeah, you heard it here first, folks. They cast Lupita not because of the way that she looks, but because that's the only way for poor Christopher Nolan to get his next Oscar. Also, let me ask you this. The concept, the literal concept of race swapping white characters as applied to ancient Greek mythology is so funny to me, because this is the part where I need you to correct me if my understanding of history is wrong, but like, there's not even a such thing as white people in that context. I think like whiteness as it exists now and white characters is absolutely a thing, yes, but the actual like social construct of white person isn't something applicable to ancient Greek mythology, unless I'm just an idiot. That's just my take on that. But maybe I don't know anything at all. Someone said none of these people were even white. Yeah, no, like, what do we mean by white? What are you talking about? Literally, I would like to know what you're talking about, because I don't think this makes any sense. Blah, 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 blah. Someone said they're so dumb. I know, everybody's trying to sound smart about this, but... And I guess I am too, and maybe I sound like an idiot, but I guess at least I don't sound like a racist idiot. Someone said the concept of whiteness was not the same as now. Yeah, you're using these words and retroactively... And then people will say that. Leftists do the same thing, or like I being, I don't know, some black person calling things racist, I'm the one filtering everything through a non-applicable lens of race is what I get a lot of as a black person. Like, not everything's about that, but I'm just like, this is literally a case where it's not about that. Y'all are so weird. Y'all are dumb. Anyways, moving on from that to this. Oh wait, hold on, I don't want to spend too much time in this article because it's from Fox News. But I would just like to let you know the instructions that the conservative hive mind is getting from their overlords. They are blaming any sort of negative critical reception on this film on Lupita Nyong'o. Not Tom Holland, not Matt Damon, not many of these other people. No, it literally says Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey gets overwhelmingly negative reactions after controversial casting choices. Lupita Nyong'o, cast as Helen of Troy, publicly criticized the epic's treatment of women during the promo tour. This literally was put out yesterday, so we're already running with this narrative that actually Lupita has ruined this movie, and I'm so tired because y'all are so predictable, truly. Reading chat. Someone said, what does that have to do with her? Literally. Also, she didn't cast herself in the movie, but like literally, what does that have to do with her? Okay, moving on to the Elliot Page of it all. I would also just like to address the transphobia against Elliot Page. Y'all are so goofy for this. So essentially, I guess because he is playing, or I don't think it's confirmed at this point, but before people even realized who he was supposed to be playing, they were already running with this narrative that, like, even saying it aloud is so obviously transphobic. He can't play this character because he's not strong enough, this, that, the other. And I'm just like, you guys are not, you're not as slick as you think you are. Pulling this right here. Right wingers, says them, like Elon Musk, here again, are already losing it over Elliot Page's The Odyssey role. You know, I am literally so tired of how much pop culture discourse I feel being driven by like the same 2 or 3 bad actors. I mean, Elon Musk has to be one of the number ones. I'm just really tired of somebody like this being able to buy an entire social platform, influence people's opinion by signal boosting things that are actually like hateful, and then those things actually become talking points that it gets all the way up to we're now making BBC articles about this when it's not even a real opinion. It's just something that one loser decided to use his pet project to boost. This pisses me off so bad. I'm sorry, I'm gonna cry. But anyways, yeah, so in response to rumors that Paige may be playing the mythological hero Achilles, some Newsmax anchor just went on like a tirade about, no, this can't be. The most famous warrior in all of history, not just Greek history, Achilles, is about to be played by a transgender. Nope, that's not. You were like so close with this, but you're so very far off. Elliot Page is not a transgender woman. Anyways, I don't really want to go into this because it's full of like misgendering and intentional just trash like that. But to the idea, once again, I must raise that Elliot's not the type of actor that you should be casting for like this sort of physical role. I shouldn't even be like pointing this out, honestly, but I just find it to be kind of funny because every time I see him, the only thing I think to myself is like, I should eat more protein as well. I honestly, like, this is so funny because, like, that's my only concept of Elliot Page. Anytime he's doing anything, it's just like, so again, I guess we can pretend like this is not real, this doesn't exist, and it makes no sense that we're casting someone like this. If that's what we need to support this transphobic worldview, go right ahead. Also, people like Elon are so slimy because they can't even say outright what it is that they actually want to say. They find memes and stuff like, Achilles, I challenge you to open this pickle jar, and then it's Elon reacting to this saying it's a banger joke, but it's like, just say what you want to say, dog. Y'all are so ridiculous. Anyways, again, I just feel like probably, I don't think I'm wrong in saying Elliot would be much more likely to be able to open a pickle jar than Elon Musk, who I'm not even going to pull a picture of because that would be considered bullying. Someone said get that podcaster to open the jar. Moving on from that. Oh God, okay, yeah. There is one casting choice that I agree I don't like at all. And that would be Travis Scott. I'm sorry. Why the hell is Travis Scott unironically, like, actually in the Odyssey? Maybe this is just a me problem because I'm not really a Travis head. But yeah, this worries me for sure. Not because of the dumb reasons that everyone else has. I just, man, someone said why is literally my biggest problem. I genuinely do not understand this choice, but actually Christopher Nolan had a reason for this. So hold on, let me pull it up. Christopher Nolan defends the Odyssey armor and casting Travis Scott after online backlash. Yeah, we haven't even gotten to the armor of it all, but we will. Okay, so jumping up here. I cast Travis because I wanted to nod towards the idea that this story has been handed down as oral poetry, which is analogous to rap, Nolan said. And I'm like, I have such mixed feelings about this. Will you forgive me, actually, if I say this is the whitest sentence I've ever read? I'm sorry. Listen. I don't even think like he's wrong. I see where he's coming from with that. It does make a sort of sense, but I'm sorry, Christopher. I appreciate it, as I always do when people are trying. I appreciate you, bro. Moving on from the Travis Scott of it all. Someone said, is bro gonna rap in the Odyssey? Someone said, but Travis, literally, like, even if that was his reasoning, which is fine, I guess, that doesn't equal, it has to be you casting somebody who is not an actor. If you cast a rapper who is also an actor, I don't even think I would care. But now I sound like the weirdos crashing out over things that don't matter. So, let's see. Anyways, one of the things... Wait, hold on. I like this comment right here, actually. Somebody said, the issue with this is you got the racists who think everyone should be with Nordic features that they deem white, and others defend it by ignoring the criticism over lack of Greek representation. I appreciate that comment, and I think that's kind of where I'm going to leave off the acting, or that's where I'm going to leave off like the casting discourse. Both of these things are true in my mind. It's multiple things, nuance type of situation where, like, there are things to criticize about the casting of this movie. Obviously, I just don't see how any of them have to equal Fox News blaming a black woman for the failure of this film, even though it's not out and it's not even going to fail. So it would be nice if we could have these conversations without the context of like actual racists and transphobes and everybody else joining in and muddying the waters. But alas. Someone said these conversations are way too nuanced for Twitter grifters to handle. Everything is, yeah. Every conversation is. All right. Anyway, as you noticed from this article, we've now got, or as you've noticed from this article, they're bringing up the costumes. I have so many mixed feelings about them. Let's see. I'm gonna pull up the da 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 da. I think again 50-50, where partially I find this backlash to be silly and also I understand parts of it. I think that the costumes look goofy as hell. The little spine he has going on and everything looking kind of like plasticky and very Batman like. I don't necessarily understand. However, a lot of people are complaining over this because they're just like, oh, well, it's inaccurate. It's not accurate to how things would have actually looked during this time period. That's the part where I have to laugh because I'm like, guys, yes, it takes place essentially in the real world, but it is also a fantasy movie with Cyclops in it. Forgive me for not being super broken up that it doesn't look the way it would have actually looked if this took place here, because it can't have happened. However, it is kind of a missed opportunity because low-key, armor from that time period looks dope as hell. And I frankly think that if we were trying to go the fantasy route, but taking some of these actual older things into consideration, it might have looked a lot neater, honestly. I mean, you could just as easily say that these are a little silly looking, but I would take that over like proto-Batman any day of the week. I just tried to snap and it didn't work. Okay, justice for me. Reading chat. Someone said, have period movies ever had accurate costuming in general? Yeah, not... maybe some of them, I'm sure. Like, actual period piece heads could tell me, like, oh, these ones are pretty good. But, yeah, for the most part, I'm not broken up over inaccuracy. I just want a little bit of fun. And, like, sad, dark everything, it's not giving. Especially when this literally could have been your jumping off point. Someone said those are awesome. Those are super awesome. All right. In fact, kind of playing into a larger criticism of this that we will get into in a second. I think sadly the entire film is a little boring for what it could have been. I think in my mind, when I think like the Odyssey, I'm literally thinking one of the greatest adventure stories of all time. One of the most like fantastical, craziest things that could have ever happened or didn't. And I guess seeing it rendered in a mix of like really somber, dark, depressing everything has been a little sad for me as just a fan of like mythology and fantasy and all of that. So yeah, I'm sad about that, but like hopefully in a normal person way and not I don't want to sound like Matt Walsh or Elon Musk. Someone said it just looks boring. It does to me, and I feel like that is a fair criticism to make. It's not just the costumes either. It's like the whole sort of set design seems to be bothering people. Like, why exactly are they on a Viking ship? And I will agree, I do find that part to be a little bit baffling. It is like objectively an actual Viking ship that they rented out to film this movie. Trying to pull this right here. This is actually from a while ago, but people found like early recording of the ship that they were going to use. And I don't understand this movie's aesthetic at all. I think that's the thing that I'm just deeply confused about. I'm open to it making sense once I watch the film, but I feel like that's a little bit unlikely. Viking ships, weird pseudo like medieval armor, plus everything is made out of materials that didn't even exist back then. I'm a little confused. However, Christopher Nolan also reacted to that. Pulling up that right now. Hold on. Pulling this. So he said There are Mycenaean daggers that are blackened bronze, Nolan said. The theory is they probably could have had blackened bronze in those days. You take bronze, you add more gold and silver to it, and then use sulfur. With Agamemnon, Ellen, our costume designer, is trying to communicate how elevated he is relative to everyone else. You can do that, or you do that through materials that would be very expensive. So, like, again, Nolan has a reason, and again, I just say, maybe I just have to trust the vision. Someone said not medieval armor, but it's very Iron Age or classical period. You're right. Just now when I was describing the armor, I said medievalish, but I should say I also don't know anything about history, so probably I got this just as wrong as the movie did. Please don't shoot me with a crossbow or whatever they used back then. I don't know. Someone said, do they not have historians on set? I think the thing about Nolan is, like, he will ask a historian or he will ask a scientist, like for Interstellar, but at the end of the day, Christopher Nolan's going to do what he wants to do. It actually says right here, hopefully people will enjoy the film even if they don't agree with everything. We had a lot of scientists complain about Interstellar, but you just don't want people to think that you took it on frivolously, he says. Anyways, moving on from the costumes and the production design into just this more visual, into a debate about the actual visuals of the film. This is less of a Christopher Nolan specific issue. This is everybody right now. All of y'all are just in the doghouse for this. I am so tired of these dark movies that I can't see. What do you mean the very first time I tried to watch this trailer in just a normally lit room, I literally could not even see it. They were cutting to black and I couldn't even tell because everything else was already so dark. How are you literally on screen showing fire, burning cities, and brightly lit ocean scenes, and it's still dark? That literally doesn't make any type of sense whatsoever. So yeah, I'm pissed, I think, already at just this being a continuation of everything being visually muddy. I'm over it. And then also, as somebody who once was Christopher Nolan's biggest offender, the audio seems like it's already going to be a problem as well. I'm not going to lie to you. And this isn't just me making things up. He has a reputation for this. This is literally 2020. Christopher Nolan says fellow directors have called to complain about his, quote, inaudible sound. Interstellar sound backlash left Nolan a little shocked at how conservative people are when it comes to sound. Christopher, it's not that I'm like scared of people doing interesting things with the audio in a film. It's that I cannot hear the people in your movies, broski. I can't hear anything in a lot of these films, especially when I'm watching them in theaters. So I've seen a lot of just like pre-release fatigue over the idea of yet another big budget Hollywood movie that none of us are going to be able to see and none of us are going to be able to hear, starring a bunch of people that we've already seen in all of the other ones. And I think that that's fair. I really, really do. Because I find myself getting heated over this. Someone said we will have a whimsy renaissance. I pray every day for a whimsy renaissance. You know what I want? Here, I'm going to show you right now. If you're an aspiring film director and you're watching this, I have some homework for you. Watch this music video. Go put on Midnight Sun by Zara Larsson. It's not even playing. I want to see colors again. I want to see things that are bright and lit by the sun. I want people to look like they're having fun. I don't know. I'm sorry. Maybe don't. And maybe this is a bad idea. And if you made a video that looked like that, it would look terrible as well. What do I really know? I don't know anything. Also, probably not putting this in the movie I'm probably not putting this in the video because it's like, it's too much of a deep cut. But does anybody remember Speed Racer 2008? Actually, I will put this in the video. No one I have ever met in my entire life has watched the Speed Racer 2008 movie. I've never like organically encountered another person who has seen this film. It's the Wachowski sisters, the people who made The Matrix. At one point, they were like, we are going to take on the manga series Speed Racer. And they made this absolutely bonkers movie just full of like the worst CGI. Imagine. I don't care. I loved it. I ate it up. I ate it up. I was 10 years old and this was literally my favorite movie. I was like, I could not get enough of Speed Racer 2008. Let me show y'all what it actually looked like. Images. Okay, hold on. Bro, look at the overstimulation of it all. Now listen, I'm not saying everything has to be this bright. Also, the cast was like stacked. Christina Ricci, Susan Sarandon, John Goodman. Like, what do you mean? But listen, I understand that this is probably like the opposite end of the spectrum where everything is too bright, obviously. But surely there is a happy medium between people having fun with color and people making Rain Cloud version 1000 and releasing it in theaters again. Someone says it looks like the Spy Kids movies. Yes, it does. It really does. Now y'all are getting me heated. And for what? I love the way Spy Kids is color graded, high key, because even though it is very bright and very like visually punchy, it still has its own consistent aesthetic. It's so warm. It's got its internal logic. I feel like so much work went into the way that this film feels to watch. So yeah, I think I'm just feeling simultaneously very old and also very sad that I just when are we ever going to get another movie like this? I know that I just pulled like 2 kids movies, but I don't care. I really don't. Someone said if you haven't watched them in a while, do it. Or shameless self promo, watch me watch the Spy Kids movies. if you haven't watched the Spy Kids movies in a while, just Google D'Angelo Wallace Spy Kids and then watch the first thing that pops up, because I did great on this. It was a fantastic video, one of my best, I won't lie to you. Also, I can't believe that this was technically the last thing I uploaded to my main channel. That is, and the fact that I'm going from this to potentially a video on Love Island is such a such a downgrade. But anyways, yeah, shout out Spy Kids, shout out the Wachowskis. Moving on. Someone said color grade like a child's movie or Barbie. Oh, Barbie did great. Barbie did great. If Barbie was great, I would have actually cried. All right. So I think I've covered the visuals and the audio. Okay, great. So we've got like 2 more things to go over, and then I'll let it rest. The American accents. People are upset about the fact that everybody in the film is either American or is speaking with an American accent. I'm being serious. Let's go ahead and pull that up. Shout out the Hollywood Reporter. The Odyssey. Everybody using American accents is definitely a choice. Okay. Gonna close out of this. So this one like really sends me, because I don't understand what the alternative is or why the alternative is more valid. And maybe this is me being too American to understand. So it says The Odyssey, Nolan's adaptation, is set in ancient Greece. Oops. An operatic fantastical tale, not just a story, as he said, but the story. And also, says the Hollywood Reporter, dude, everybody sounds like they're from Ohio. On Tuesday, this was a while ago, Universal dropped the latest trailer. Fans are impressed by the scope and cast, but they're a bit thrown by one choice. The characters sound American and use contemporary sounding language, more Ithaca, New York than Greece. At one point, Matt Damon's Odysseus leads a battle charge by crying, "Let's go." Even stars Tom Holland and Robert Pattinson, who are English, sound American. The choice is a striking departure from the unwritten Hollywood rule of characters in historical epics employing British accents, from the Ten Commandments to Ben-Hur to Gladiator to HBO's Rome. I promise you I'm not being obtuse, but how is a British accent more accurate? to the Odyssey than an American accent. I'm not playing stupid. They are both equally divorced from the reality of how language would have actually been spoken at that time. British doesn't mean, I don't know, fancier or more authoritative or whatever it is that people seem to think. But yeah, I'm kind of lost on this one, chat. I really am. Someone said maybe the author of the article refers to how the vibe feels to them. They do. They're citing people saying, like, let's see, people complain about the armor being inaccurate, but at least they nailed Odysseus's Boston accent. That "my dad is coming home" line feels so out of place in the Sword and Sandals movie with this much gravitas. And it sounds like they're trying to have an epic conversation on the sidewalk outside the Starbucks. Someone said, I like all those ancient Greek and Roman movies with British accents, but the cliche doesn't make sense. It can be dropped. And like, I guess their point is they can't take it seriously because the people in there sound American. And like, I agree, honestly and strongly. There's nothing that serious about an American accent, but no shade. British accents don't sound that much more serious to me. I'm not gonna lie, actually. English is a deeply unserious language. I've said this before, but I think it's one of the worst ones. And my biggest curse is me only knowing this one. I have nothing to compare it to, but truthfully, I don't think this matters. This might be the strongest stance that I'm taking that I feel like people will probably disagree with, but if we're not going full Greek with it, then what is the point? Someone said Greek accents. If we were going to do Greek, I would prefer that over American and British. Frankly, that I would like, because Greek people can and do speak English. And so that's a thing that I think would be a lot more interesting. I mean, obviously Greek people can have any kind of accent. So I'm not even saying I think that this was the correct choice. I just think if you think that the answer is they should sound British, I can't take that seriously. Greek, all day, every day. Again, we get back to this main issue of like, well, there's no one in this movie who's even Greek, so alas, we failed. Someone said, I want to see Travis Scott's Greek accent. I don't know if I want to see that. I kind of do, but I shouldn't want to see that, I feel. Someone said if they're going to do British accents, they should do thick Geordie. I mean, true. There are like, British accent can mean so many different things, some of which sound nothing like each other. So it would be fun to pick some of the more uncommonly used ones in Hollywood. That would be fantastic. I'd watch the heck out of that for real. Someone said I would be into an all Mediterranean Odyssey. It would be dope, honestly. It really would. Someone said, now that I want to hear. Yeah, shout out Travis. Hold on, trying to move from here. But yeah, let's take a look at some of these lines that were really throwing people off. Like the usage of the term dad or let's go. Turning the volume up for you all so you can hopefully hear this. And hopefully I don't catch a copyright claim because that would suck.
Do you see?
Wait, sorry. I feel like, is it like super crunchy? I'm trying to get the audio right.
Dad is coming home.
Oh no, it's fine. It was totally fine and I just talked over it for no reason. Okay, take two, sorry.
Do you see? My dad is coming home.
I feel as though if Tom Holland saying in an American accent, my dad is coming home, completely destroys your ability to immerse yourself in this movie, maybe it's not the adaptation you're looking for, I think is the nicest way I can put that. Let's see. It was also this line right here. Again, I if there's an argument to be had about the dialogue just seeming hokey in general, that would be, I would be here for that. But I think one thing that is kind of like getting to me about this, I think of it as like Shakespeare syndrome. I don't have enough of a historical literature anything to make this point with any sort of clarity, but basically it's kind of like people think that Shakespeare was actually super elevated because a lot of it is written in language that some people can find inaccessible, but that is objectively not what Shakespeare was trying to do. These were things that everybody was supposed to enjoy, and actually a lot of it was more colloquial than it seems. I feel like that is kind of slightly what I feel like maybe going on, or that's kind of slightly what seems to be happening with the Odyssey, where in people's minds, the original actual story itself, as written by Homer, I think that was the guy, Simpson, like it wasn't exactly this literary, like super up here type of thing. And I feel like a lot of re-examinations and translations of this kind of look at, well, what if we translated it in a way that was actually closer to what people consider to be commonly spoken English nowadays? So I don't know. Now it's definitely just a matter of taste. Someone says Shakespeare is using contemporary and new language to depict historic happenings. Yeah, like on God, I think like this is gonna sound like mean or dismissive or something, but a lot of literature wasn't actually that deep. Don't tell anyone I said this, because I feel like they're just going to say I'm being anti-intellectual at this point, or like this is a horrible take. But I think we have retroactively just applied this veneer of inaccessibility and remove from the common man or common person to a lot of literature classics, when in reality that's simply not what they were intended to be at any point. Someone said look up Emily Wilson. She gets a lot of pushback for her translation of the Odyssey because of her use of colloquial language. I have her as a point in my outline because actually this is the final controversy that I wanted to talk to you about. I kid you not. I literally kid you not. This sounds like a lie when I say it out loud. There is a subgroup of conservative people who are mad because they feel like this is based off of Emily Wilson's translation. And with her being a woman, it's now like, oh, they've turned the Odyssey feminist. I said it out loud and I'm like, D'Angelo, it just sounds like you're lying. It sounds like you're literally making up positions just so you have something to talk about in a video. But here, hold on. Pulling... I literally had to find sources for this. Asmongold, somebody who I don't even want to get into, is literally out here with similar talking points of like, this movie is just a woke nonsense disaster. And yes, part of this would be the translation of it all. Similarly, you can find takes like this from the likes of The Critical Drinker, basically just the worst of these like anti-woke YouTubers. So yes, this is actually happening, but I would like to take a look at what Emily Wilson was trying to do because I feel like she's getting too much flack, bro. Someone said, I thought Emily Wilson's translation was usually recommended. Yeah, it literally is though. No one has dealt with more angry Odyssey bros than Emily Wilson, says this Vulture article. And as Vulture puts it, the Odyssey isn't out for another few weeks. Well, it's out soon now. But don't tell that to the worst guys you know, because they're already complaining about it online. Right-wing trolls, including the richest man in the world, and enraged Redditors have berated him over casting a trans man in the movie, over Telemachus saying the word dad, over casting a black woman as the most beautiful woman in the world, and the helmet design doesn't seem Greek enough. Again, some of these things I do understand, but not most of them. All that anger comes from a place of misplaced protectiveness over an approximately 3,000-year-old story that they likely aren't experts on to begin with, and nobody knows more about being a target of the Odyssey. Nobody knows more about being a target of the Odyssey's most insecure fans than Emily Wilson. Wilson's translations of the Odyssey and the Iliad are some of the best-known pieces of contemporary translation, and they've turned the University of Pennsylvania professor into both a star and a specter of controversy. Like, these are good translations. It's actually okay to reimagine what this was like and try to recontextualize it. She's not stupid. It's not exactly, I guess, as dumb as people seem to think it is. She was the first woman to have a translation of the Odyssey published in English, and immediately scored acclaim and backlash for what some saw as overly simplistic wording. She explains her translations in her forthcoming book, Crossing the Wine Dark Sea, writing, "I didn't want to produce a translation that was longer, wordier, or risked being flabbier than the original. And because Nolan has cited Wilson's work as one of many inspirations for his forthcoming film, specifically her version of the opening line, 'Tell me about a complicated man,' you can imagine part of this is just rooted in what I feel to be either a misunderstanding of the intention of this film or just like misogynist trolls in anti-woke spaces telling people what to think. So that's sort of my take on the dad / let's go controversy. If you disagree or have a different point, that's fine, totally, but that's how I'm thinking of it, or maybe that's just me explaining why I'm not really bothered by that part at all. Someone said Emily's an Ivy League college professor. Yeah, like, I mean, dog, she knows what she's doing. I feel. Someone said he did her no faves by referencing her. She should get residuals. I know, like, she's getting set up by this, on God, but I just wanted to defend her a little bit. And you know what? Call me fine. Okay, whatever. I'm biased. And what are you gonna do about it? Yes, I bought her book. What are you gonna do about it? The Odyssey, Homer, translated by Emily Wilson. And you know what? The translation is dope. It literally has a big old translator's note in the beginning. It would explain a lot of this. Tell me about a complicated man. Muse, tell me how he wandered and was lost when he wrecked the whole... I'm not going to try to read this because I don't have a dramatic enough delivery to make this sound good. But, fine. Maybe this is just me being a fanboy. See, you think you grow out of this behavior, but all I did was transition from being someone who defends the likes of Christopher Nolan online to somebody who defends the likes of Emily Wilson. So I guess nothing has been learned. I hope you're happy. That's all I've got. Is there anything else that you want me... Hold on, let me check. So we talked about his filmography, the translation, Asmongold, Critical Drinker, American Accents, Dad, Let's Go. Oh, wait, hold on. I wanted to pull this last thing right here because I forgot to read this quote. I got so lost in the sauce. Okay, wait, hold on. Sorry. I am high key. I'm losing my... Oh, here we go. Okay. So in this BBC article that was covering the controversy, they actually asked this Professor Susan DC, about this, and she had some points that I thought were kind of interesting. Like, I wonder whether we've become inclined to treat mythological material as though it were historical material. Yet the Odyssey is continually being reimagined, with pretty well every age producing its own Homer. And I just think that's a pretty decent point. Like, my issues with this aren't because people are taking liberties. It's more so, if you have the ability to create any version of the story that you want, you have basically an unlimited budget, obviously, because you have like 10 different A-list actors in this, and you use it to create something that is gray, dull, sad, boring, has been done before, not even using the beautiful source material that exists as inspiration. Yeah, I'm going to be sad about it. Obviously, can't help it. Maybe I'm not as mad about certain other things, or maybe some of this is just people actually being racist and horrible, but that's actually all I've got. Okay, so I talked about that. We talked about Lupita Nyong'o, Matt Walsh, unfortunately, Elon, Fox News, Elliot Page, quote unquote, not being powerful enough, well, actually being jacked. The production design, the costumes looking silly, inaccurate, boring. We looked at some of the originals. We looked at the boat, the muddy audio, the muddy visual, his sort of whatchamacallit, his reputation for like bad audio. And okay, so I guess I can also talk about this right here. Again, chat, the movie ain't out yet. It really isn't. So who knows? Maybe it'll come out and Christopher Nolan That was so mumbly. Run that back. Maybe it'll come out and Christopher Nolan will make me look like a fool and it all clicks and I'm just back into standum. Critics seem to really love it. The Odyssey first reactions, staggering. Nolan's biggest film to date. Literally almost every single review that's out from people who have seen it early is just saying it's like crazy impressive and it's just mind-blowing. So I hope. But yeah, that's about it. While I was searching for comments, and I read a lot of comments when I make my videos, y'all. A lot of comments on Reddit, Twitter, YouTube, Threads, TikTok, because when I do say that like people are mad about things, I usually want to go back and see like, is this people actually just being upset, or is this like literally one out of context comment that somebody picked? And I just spend so much time reading discourse and trying to absorb it and unpack it and sort it into reality. But one of the comments that I saw while I was like searching for all this, I have such a love-hate relationship with this comment. Somebody had posted on Reddit, what's the deal with the Odyssey, on the Out of the Loop subreddit, and someone said, answer, it looks like America slop. And at first I got kind of annoyed because I'm just really, really tired of people like sticking that 4-letter word after everything. It's overused, I'm not gonna lie, but also this comment makes sense and I understand what they're saying and I don't even think I disagree. I don't think I disagree. Maybe that's the biggest problem with the Christopher Nolan, the Odyssey. It's just the latest entry in the long line of America slop, and we're just going to get mogged when all of the 20-year-old Gen Z directors come out with their cooler, hipper TikTok films. I don't know, broski. I'm recording an outro. Don't leave. If you're new to the stream and you hear me about to use a lot of language, that sounds like I'm about to end the stream. I'm not. I just need an outro so I can put it in the video and everybody can watch it tomorrow. Anyway, that's all I have to say about this movie. I'm probably going to watch it, but then after that, I'm hopefully never going to think about it again, and hopefully you never have to either. But yeah, I recorded this video live right here on YouTube, where I stream quite frequently, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Unless, of course, I don't, in which case I'm probably just, I don't know, sleeping. But yeah, hopefully I see you in the next video or the next stream, and if not, that doesn't matter at all. Okay, bye! I forgot to tell you all to say bye. There were no byes. Hold on. I'm gonna re-record. I'm gonna re-record it. I'm gonna re-record it for all of you. We're gonna try this again. Everybody say goodbye. Hopefully I see you in the next stream or the next video. And if not, why did my voice crack? Hopefully I see you in the next stream or the next video. And if not, it doesn't matter at all. Okay, bye. Okay, chat. I don't know what literally any of that was, but we got through it. We're done. I hit stop recording. It's over. It's finished. Finito. Is that even a word? Probably. Anyways, yeah, America slop. No, let me tell you. Okay, thanks for the buys, but we're good now because they're not showing up anymore. We're not on TV no more. But listen, well, I am on some of y'all's TVs, which I appreciate. That's why I got to keep my skincare popping. I got fed up with the term slop when I saw the term streep slop. This pissed me off so bad. Yes, it was literally the Daily Mail just quoting some probably annoying like Twitter comment, but when it was literally like the Daily Mail trying to force this narrative that Meryl Streep is called out over streep slop movies as critics roast stars post 2000s filmography, I'm just like, streep slop? You can't just say, I prefer Meryl Streep's older films. You literally have to word it this way. That's when I was just like, okay, I'm done with the term slop. Moving on from slop, I think we can retire that one, chat. That one pissed me off real bad. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, shout out the Daily Fail. Never. Reading chat, reading chat. Someone said, have you seen Quality Slop? That sounds oxymoronic. What does that even mean? Quality slop is when it's good content? I don't even understand. Someone said I hate the word slop too. It's so reductive. It really is though. Drink some water real fast. Someone says, since when did we start hating Meryl Streep? Never in this house, as far as I'm concerned. Maybe there's some sort of personal thing there. I don't know her personal life, but film-wise, nah, Meryl Streep is perfectly fine. Absolutely not. You ever watch Mamma Mia? That's actually a really good movie. Hold on. Trying to stay hydrated. Hydrate. Somebody said we're literally calling it Streep Slop. Really was my actual reaction. No, Mamma Mia is honestly so good. I misspelled mama because I don't know how to spell. This is Meryl Streep, right? Or am I an idiot? No, it is. Okay. Thank God. That would have been so embarrassing. I love this film. In fact, what happened to movies that just like feel good to watch? What happened to movies that are just like nice? That's how I feel about Mamma Mia, where it's just like, I mean, Amanda Seyfried does so well. Obviously, Meryl Streep is iconic. You've got the trio: Pierce Brosnan, Colin Firth, Stellan Skarsgård. This movie is just such a good time, and it's so unabashedly nerdy. Like, who has the idea of we're gonna soundtrack this entire story to ABBA? That's amazing. Someone says it's my favorite movie. That makes a lot of sense as a favorite movie because it's pretty much unmatched in terms of like that specific vibe for me anyway. Someone said, don't go wasting your emotion. Lay all your love on me. Let's go. ABBA low-key is goated. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie. Like, there is something about these funky Swedes. They actually had the secret sauce. I listen to a lot of older music and I'm like, nah, kill that. Or I appreciate it for what it is, but I always want the new. But there's something about an ABBA song coming on that you just know you're in for a good time. They literally did so much. So many interesting things with like their production. All of their vocal performances they turned in were so good. All of the vibes are just like, they can give you upbeat, they can give you kind of mellow. I don't know. And it just was like music that was literally just supposed to sound good. I feel like was the only point of an ABBA song is like, does it sound nice? And it always did. So shout that out for real. Also, there's something about like, okay, I need y'all to like not get mad at me, or you can get mad at me if this is reductive, but is Sweden Nordic? It is, right? Hold on, let me check this. Is Sweden Nordic? I don't want the AI answering. Yes, it is. The Nordic region consists of Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Iceland, the Faroe Islands. Sorry, I think I said that wrong. Greenland and Ireland. But listen. There's something about Nordic pop producers. That or like Nordic pop. This is not an original thought at all. This is literally so well established that you can just go to Wikipedia. Like Aqua, that's Barbie Girl, right? One of the greatest pop songs of all time, Barbie Girl in a Barbie World. Like, that's Nordic pop, right? And then you have ABBA, one of the most iconic pop acts to have ever done the thing. Take On Me. You cannot beat Take On Me in terms of just like pure 80s power. I don't know what's like in the water in that sort of region of the world. It's like literally so many people. I think Aurora, is she on here? Yeah, Aurora is literally one of my favorite artists of all time, honestly. Man, her music means a lot to me. And she's on this list simultaneously. So is Bjork because she's Icelandic, and Bjork has also done so many things that are like so impactful. Leve, she popping off right here. Oh my god, I never say this band's name correctly. Okay, there we go. I listened to them as well. Shout out Jonesy. Like, I do not understand how this many Royksop, like, what? Cigarette? Dog. It's just wild. It's wild as hell. I mean, to be fair, there's great musicians everywhere, but it's seeing them so aligned with the specific genre of pop is so funny to me. Casimir Cat is a great producer. He produced he co-produced Stay with Justin Bieber, and that's a pretty good song. Not Benny Blanco. It's the Kid Laroi and Justin Bieber. And Casimir Cat had a lot of solo stuff that I was super into. He also had like this collab album that had like Selena Gomez and The Weeknd on it. Sophie, I think, was also on there. Yeah. Shout that out. Someone said it's the free college. Honestly, I just feel like free college would solve all of my problems. All of the problems here. It really would. Not all of them, obviously, but you know what I mean. Someone said Never Ending Midnight Sun. Oh, yeah. Wait, did I forget Zara? Am I crazy for forgetting Zara? Yeah, hello. Zara Larson is also Nordic pop. Tuvalu is really good as well. She's great. Galantis, I'm a pretty big fan of. Where are all these people from? Sweden. Okay, there we go. Robin, dog. It's Robin for me, honestly. I know you're like, D'Angelo, how many favorite singers? Shh. I'm sorry. There's just something about a Robin album. I feel like she's a really good albums artist as well. Her voice and just her sort of vision for synth pop, I am buying into so heavily. I'm just a big Robin fan. Oh, now I'm gonna be sad. No, okay, let me get off of here. But anyways, yeah, shout out all of that. Someone said Robin's last album was fire. It was so good. It was literally so good. I was expecting it to be good because I never heard a bad Robin album, but it was like above and beyond, on God. Someone said, I can't wait for your thoughts on the Elden Ring movie. Is that the one that Jacksepticeye is producing, or am I lying about that? Jacksepticeye Elden Ring movie. No. I swear to God, I thought he had something to do with this. Yes. Bloodborne video game film adaptation announced with YouTuber Jacksepticeye. Okay, so what is he doing? He's co-producing it. Yeah, I'm excited for that. That makes sense. Iron Lung was definitely impressive to me. What else have we seen recently in the way of like game-related movies? The Backrooms is not based off of a game. I do know that. But there is also a game, and that's kind of game-related YouTube vibes, and The Backrooms is pretty good. So I have faith in whatever it is that Jacksepticeye is cooking up. I mean, From Software is also working on it, right? I think. Maybe not. I have no idea. No, they totally are. I think. So yeah, it should be fine. It should be faithful, I feel. Someone said I really enjoyed Iron Lung as an experimental dive into cosmic horror. Yeah, Iron Lung's not a perfect movie, and I wouldn't expect a perfect movie as somebody's debut. However, I think it excelled my expectations in many areas, honestly, which I was very happy about. So overall, I would just watch it just to see what somebody can do with a smaller budget. Someone said, I hope they lean into Bloodborne's tonal shift. I love From Software, even though... Don't tell anyone I've said this. I have never played a From Software game. I feel like a very fake fan right now because I feel like I would cite them as one of my favorite game companies for sure. Oh, hold on, I take that back. Okay. So you have like Dark Souls, obviously, Sekiro, Elden Ring. I've never played Demon Souls. Excuse me, I've never played Bloodborne, even though I love Bloodborne. But I have played a From Software game. I played Armored Core because I like giant robots. I just like mecha. The idea of just putting on like a mech suit and becoming a giant robot was intensely appealing to me. So I just impulse bought the latest Armored Core game, and I was flying around like, yes, finally, I unironically identify as an attack helicopter. I jokingly say this as a non-binary person. But yeah, no, other than that, I've never actually played any of these games. Maybe I've played them for bits and pieces at like people's house or whatever, but I don't know. I don't know why it is that I'm not interested in playing them. I want the sound design and the art direction and the color palette and like all of the thought that gets put into how these games feel to play. I like that aspect of it, but I just skipped. I skipped the gameplay because I'm not really into hack and slash or like Souls like. I wish I was, but yeah, maybe before the Bloodborne film comes out, I will actually attempt to play the game again. I'm familiar with the game because I would just watch other people play it. Doug, I don't care. I don't even feel like I need to play games anymore. Someone says you're making me realize why my MB sibling likes mecha and cyberpunk stuff so much. OMG. Oh, for me, there's a lot of overlap. I'm not the only person. It's a lot of overlap between like Transformers / put on a giant robot suit, Gundam type, you know, it's a thing. It's not super crazy common, but I'm not the only. Anyways, someone said I like watching long lore explainer videos. Man, I love the heck out of an explanation video for like a series like this. Y'all ever watch the Kingdom Hearts explainer? Like any of them. Kingdom Hearts is literally the worst franchise in terms of trying to make sense of it. I'm going to be quite honest with you. The world and story and timeline of Kingdom Hearts makes literally no sense whatsoever. And what doesn't help is like no spoilers, but a lot of the characters in Kingdom Hearts are also other characters. And then like they pop up and you're like, who is that? And then you're like, wait, isn't that? And then it's this other person who you already were familiar with. Kingdom Hearts literally just makes no sense. No sense. And I love it. It just means so much to me. Like I could cry thinking about how deeply important these games are to me, but sometimes explainer videos are necessary even if you're a fan. And that's how I feel. So I am not ashamed. I have no hesitation. I'll watch an explainer on anything. It do not matter. Not at all. Someone said, I remember watching the Polygon video on Kingdom Hearts lore. Was that Brian? No, I don't think it was. But Brian David Gilbert, low key, he used to work for Polygon. Brian David Gilbert. And he made some of the best videos on the internet, dog. I think like several years ago, a lot back when I stepped up my video production and my script writing in my video essays, part of that was because of people like Brian David Gilbert just putting out the craziest stuff ever, like on Polygon. Oh, it was Brian. It was Brian. Okay, yeah. I didn't remember Gilbert's Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, of course it was. I've watched all of his stuff, but it's been a long time. I mean, you see, this was like literally 7 years ago. God, dude, I swear to God, I don't get nerdy. I mean, yes, I do. Why am I lying? I don't get nerdy over YouTubers a lot because I just feel like they're always going to disappoint you. But from an actual like script writing perspective, bro is literally like the truth for sure. Big inspo. Reading chat. Someone say he's having a good time, I think. Yeah, he seems fine. I know he doesn't work for Polygon anymore, which is okay. I feel like that was mostly just a loss for Polygon. Sorry, guys. But I feel like Polygon is still fine, I think. Mostly, I don't know. Games journalism is always going to be kind of sussy for many reasons, but I don't think Polygon is the worst by any means. Reading chat. Some said there can be 5 different people in the room, all just different versions of the same person. That applies to more than one character. It's the best. Love me some Kingdom Hearts For real, for real. Someone said this is a nerd safe space. Yeah, we won't jump you, I swear. Anyways, speaking of Brian's, BDG would be a good one. We're Brian David Gilbert fans over here, perhaps. But did y'all? I'm not laughing. This isn't like literally funny at all. But did y'all see that recent Brian Johnson news? Yes, no, yay, nay, maybe. For those of you who don't know, Brian Johnson is somebody who I made actually a very long video on. I think that was a 50-minute video essay where I chronicled this dude's entire descent from like almost like billionaire, centimillionaire, tech CEO, and then he sold his company and he got super into like biohacking and was like trying not to die, and that's fine, except it turned into a bunch of really weird things like blood transfusions with his own teenage son really fast, and it ended with like I think he was selling olive oil and also a book that he wrote the last time I checked in with him. Since then, there's been a lot of weird Brian Johnson news that I have largely managed to ignore, but I think the most recent thing was like dog, I just the framing of this. Biohacker Brian Johnson reveals chronic autoimmune stomach condition. I just feel like this is such a... This was kind of like one of the points I was trying to get at in my video. I wasn't predicting that this would happen. Longevity guru Brian Johnson reveals he has an incurable disease. Now, the good news is he's not dying, right? That's not what I want to happen. I just felt like all of this preventative stuff. Literally, he said he was spending $2 million a year on quote unquote experimental medical procedures in an attempt to never age in any meaningful way. But like I think part of the thing that was just really sending me about this was you can do all of these things, but you're still a human being. And so yeah, when I saw this article, I was like, oh, that sucks. Granted, like he's fine, and also a lot of people have, I forget the exact name of the condition. It was like, was it AIG or something like that? So it's manageable, obviously, but dang, dude, rough, buddy, rough. Someone said ironic. Yeah, no, that's, come on, dog, man. But yeah, what, I wasn't expecting that one. That's all I know. Someone said even his stomach thinks he's doing too much. Okay, here's the thing. I'm not here to spread medical misinformation because I don't like, I don't know the specifics of how the condition he has works. So I'm not actually attributing what he has to his lifestyle. All I'm saying is if at one point you told people that you were swallowing 70 pills a day, because he was doing that, he actually was, that seems more likely to have adverse effects on your health than anything else that you're doing. You're trying to combat it with all of this quote unquote healthy stuff. So again, I'm not saying he actually wound up causing his own condition. No, just that like I wouldn't have been surprised if something happened anyway, because he was living in such an unnatural way. And me saying unnatural makes me sound like some sort of Luddite, but just, I don't think we were meant to swallow 70 pills a day, which he did dial back since then. Just wild, dog. But yeah, very, very interesting person, Brian Johnson. I guess I'll never really get over my fascination all the way, but yeah, always in the background with some sort of wacky headline with that dude. Someone said, I hate taking my singular vitamin. For real, I could never do 70, dog. Also, I think what is so funny about him, and this is not criticism of him literally at all. It's just with him being 48 and trying to do all of these things to like never age. I'm just so taken by how he looks exactly his age. I'm not even saying that to be mean. Looking 48 is not like something to be dunked on. Just millions and millions and millions of dollars for you essentially to still be 48. It's wild. But anyways, with that being said, like I think the conclusion I came to in my video is he wasn't like really hurting other people. I guess he wasn't suggesting that other people do what he's doing. So what can you do? Reading chat. Some I miss when I thought he was bad before I found out Clavicular, and now I don't even feel like he's that bad. He literally isn't compared to someone like Clavicular, because as sort of warped as I did think most of what Brian Johnson was doing was, like, Clavicular's end goal, as I've mentioned several times and will always say, no matter how morbid or how unk this makes me sound, is death. That's the logical extreme of whatever it is that Clavicular is doing. That will kill you. And maybe you could say the same about like Brian Johnson's pursuit of quote unquote health or whatever. But yeah, no, Clav's message is just so disturbing to me for the youth. We're really just telling a whole generation of young people, like, yeah, your health, forget that. Looking a certain way is the only thing that matters. I think that's a bit worse. Yeah, I really, really do. I hate it, and I'm sad. Someone said, I just think he needs therapy or something. I think everybody needs therapy or something. And that brings me to the sponsor of today's stream. Just kidding. Just kidding. I'm literally still trying to find, like, I'm gonna find me some sponsors, I swear to God. But I keep saying no. I have to keep saying no over and over to these sponsors, dog. They're actually starting to piss me off. Like, you know who tried to sponsor me recently? You know who tried to sponsor me? I shouldn't say this. I shouldn't say this. Okay, so sponsorships are tricky because, like, it's not only me involved. It's also people who help me get the sponsors. And I don't want to put like my agency in like a bad position or whatever. But I will say, when Free Cash reached out to me and they were like, oh yeah, Free Cash X D'Angelo Wallace, I was like, you guys want me to do a sponsor read for a product that is literally called Free Cash? There is no such thing as that. And then, of course, like me, I was like, maybe it's just a bad name. Maybe it's just a bad product name, and it's not as bad as it sounds. So I just did what I do with every single brand deal nowadays, and I Googled Free Cash scam, and I went to news. How the rewards app Free Cash scammed its way to the top of the App Store. Free Cash app scammed users in the App Store for months before removal. And then I asked some of like my actual colleagues, and they were like, nah, my partner tried to use this app and they wouldn't pay out. You find like all these people saying like, dog, this app is shady. Now, granted, some people do, I guess, like get money through this. I guess it works for some people, and that's great. That's fantastic. But like, there's literally layers to this. And then we didn't get this far in our negotiation process. But someone else, another creator, was asking me about Free Cash, because they're like, have they reached out to you? And I was like, yes, they did. Free Cash sent them instructions to falsely tell people that their viewers had DM'd them and said that this app works. Literally, Free Cash sent... God, I shouldn't be saying... I'm describing something illegal. So, I don't want to get in trouble. Actually, I kind of regret what I said a little bit. Allegedly, the creator that spoke to me feels as though allegedly Free Cash, or the agency promoting Free Cash, allegedly asked them to falsely claim that their viewers DM'd them and said, oh, the app really works, and to like show that on screen when that didn't happen. Allegedly. So y'all, it's getting shadier out here. Things are getting more and more shady in the brand deal world. Things are not getting better. I think they're just getting worse and worse. I had to say no real fast to that one because that was scary. Anyways, in Minecraft, someone said in Minecraft. I can't stress enough. I literally have a platform. I forget because my streams are like cozy, but these videos do live publicly. I am technically I hate the phrase public figure, and if I am telling people objectively that this product is a scam, they could try to sue me. So really, I'm just gonna say, allegedly, I was told a story about this that sounded like scamming. And that's all I'm gonna leave it there. But yeah, I said no to them. I said no to a bunch of people recently. I can't do it, dog. I really can't do it. But since I'm here, another one that I had to say no to was Whatnot. I had to say no. Because Whatnot also tried to sponsor me, and I was like, what? Here's the thing that happened to me. This is my little Whatnot story. Before... Oh, wait, do y'all not have audio? If you don't have audio, just refresh the page. Is it just one person, or is it like a bunch of people? Okay, I think we're good. Okay, anyways, back into the realm of allegedly, right? I was literally watching a YouTube video with a friend. And the creator that we were watching did an ad read for Whatnot. And my friend, they watched the entire thing with me. I was only like half watching it because it was a sponsorship. And after that, my friend turned to me and they were like, "Is this gambling?" And I was like, "What? No." And I went back and I rewatched it because I was like, there's literally no way that this would have been like a gambling sponsorship. But high key, I think the issue with this is if you just Google Whatnot gambling, which by the way, multiple people are searching for, even though Whatnot says it's not gambling, it's just you making a purchase and maybe getting the thing that you're looking for. You still have people literally on Reddit for years talking about how does Whatnot get away with allowing gambling in states where it's legal? Is Whatnot essentially a gambling platform? People are like, unregulated gambling, yes. Is Whatnot effectively gambling described as shopping? And like, I just feel as though when a brand is coming to me and they're like, D'Angelo, you have an audience of people watching you. We want to pay you to tell more people about our product. And your product is something that people just watching ad reads for are like, this feels like gambling. And then they Google it and it's a bunch of people saying the same thing. Why are you asking me to promote this? Why? It's literally just because for me mentioning it at all. And somebody might passively, even though I'm pretty sure most people just skip ads because they're ads, nobody watches them. But me mentioning it passively at all, they're hoping that people will just like skip past. Or they're hoping that people will just like download it, maybe because I mentioned it, because it sounds cool. And then you're trapped essentially in what is gambling. And I never even use that word. And I just find that to be so insidious. So yeah. Tired of the gambling. I'm getting a little tired of like, I mean, BetterHelp has soured me on like telehealth stuff in general. Obviously, we're not doing any sort of like free cash scam platforms or whatever. And I'm just like, we need some new sponsors in the space. That is what we need. I remember the times of Squarespace and Skillshare, even though Skillshare dropped me. I've been telling the same story for 5 or 6 years, and Skillshare has never picked me back up because I think I won't shut up about it. Actually, yeah, I don't know what happened. I think it was right after I had put out like back-to-back videos about, it was either like Jeffree Star or something, or maybe it was like after one of my Shane Dawson videos or something like that. I must have said something that really pissed Skillshare off because they were like, actually, hey D'Angelo, I know we've collaborated like literally 5 times, because I think we'd actually collaborated 5 times, but we're done. We're canceling our current deal, and we don't want any sort of like we don't want to continue this business relationship. That was all well and good, except for the part where I had told these people I was making a Skillshare course. I was literally making a course. I had written out massive parts of this because I thought it would be fun, instead of just telling people like, hey, this is a cool product, go learn whatever. I was thinking like it would be really fun if I was like, hey, I even made a course here. So even if there aren't good courses there, you can at least go learn from me how to do this one really specific thing. And I was actually investing so much time and energy. I was so excited. I was telling people in my life, like, I'm making a Skillshare course, and then I'm going to do this Skillshare integration, and it's going to be so fun. And that is when they pulled the rug out for me, and I realized I was just doing a bunch of extra work for no reason. So that was kind of demoralizing. Shout out Skillshare. But anyways, I miss the era of it constantly being Skillshare and Wix, and Squarespace was fine, and the VPN companies are fine. I know we don't all need VPNs, but it's a real product that they actually do use on a regular basis. And like, I don't know, not Scentbird. I remember we used to do Scentbird, but they have something weird going on with the CEO or something. I don't remember. But yeah, I don't know what's happening with YouTube sponsors, bro. I really don't. Someone said the gambling part is paying for blind packs of cards in hopes to win a big pool on the opened pack. Yeah, it's like mystery box stuff. If you're asking what the issue is with whatnot, it's literally like you will get something, but you don't know what you're getting. And all of it is being very gamified and using visuals that are pulled from gambling, essentially. Like, it's encouraging people to essentially pay again and again and again and again because they want something that will actually be worth more than what they're paying for. It is almost a lottery ticket, because if you were to then acquire this more expensive item than what you actually paid for, you could then turn around and sell it and make money. So it's gambling. Like, it's not gambling. But yeah, no, for those of you who are confused, I understand, because it's not immediately clear from the outset, really. Someone said, I've only seen the lives for clothes. Yeah, I think the thing about Whatnot is it's a bunch of things at once, and so parts of it are fine. But I didn't want to be responsible. I didn't want to be responsible for pushing people towards there. Someone said, what was your course about? Oh, I was literally going to teach people how to make their first YouTube video, which I know sounds a little silly when there's so much of that content online nowadays, but I promise you, like, 5 or 6 years ago, it would have been a little more interesting. I was going to tell people, like, this is how you write a video. This is how you see a project through all the way. This is how you take something from being an idea to, like, okay, a full thing. This is how you rewatch your own content to make sure that it's engaging and know which parts to cut out or which parts might need a little explainer. If you've ever seen a YouTuber do, like, insert a frame where they're editing and they're like, hi, this is editing D'Angelo. I'll tell you why YouTubers do that and when you should and when you shouldn't. It was going to be really fun, but that's okay. I'll tell you how to do all those things for free now. I don't care. I don't care, bro. I don't care at all. Someone said, I don't trust ZocDoc and never will. I mean, anything like, I think ZocDoc has helped some people for sure, but so has BetterHelp also, but that doesn't make it a good service. ZocDoc I'm neutral on. I haven't heard anything bad about them, but BetterHelp has just kind of messed up the space for everybody, where anything that is related to health and the internet, I'm just kind of like, I don't know, dog. What if this turns into BetterHelp Part 2? I don't know. Someone said, D'Angelo, tell me how to actually see my projects through. You have to rewire your dopamine source, or at least that's what I had to do. I realize now that basically my video would have been tutorial for ADHD people. But like, I mean, there's some people who don't have trouble finishing things, but I know I certainly did. And what I learned essentially that helps me a lot, I have to get my dopamine from elsewhere. Little fun fact about my neurodivergence: if I feel as though I have acquired enough dopamine from something, I will drop it. I think that's the thing is like usually a project, let's say it's 100% is the correct amount of dopamine. That's me finishing a project. But a lot of times if I can just get to 10%, I'm good. And I don't care anymore. So let's say I'm working on a new song and it's like, okay, I'm really excited. I want the 100% dopamine finish of like sharing this new music with everybody. It's going to be so exciting. And I'm working. But then I will like have a little part of it that has like sounds good and I'll export that and I'll send it to a friend. I'll be like, yo, listen to like this part of the song I'm working on. I'm so excited. And they'll listen and they'll be like, wow, that's great. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Done. Don't care. Close the project. It literally does not matter to me anymore. Like I genuinely don't care. I'm not working on that. It's not important. It's not part of my priorities. It's not something I would waste my time doing. There are other things I could be doing. It happens to me a lot. It happens to me a lot. And so basically what I tell people is you got to delay that response. Don't add in these little dopamine traps in your workflow where it's like, ooh, I'm going to tell people about this thing. Don't do that. Don't do that. You should have one goal. Basically tell yourself the only way you can ever get the validation you're looking for is by finishing. You literally have to rewire your brain so that the finishing of a project is where the actual fulfillment comes from, because it is way too easy to get the brain happy feeling from, I don't know, thinking of a project. I get a lot of that just from coming up with ideas and telling people about them, and then I give up on them because I don't care anymore. You can get that from sharing half finished states. Don't do that. Don't export any one part of a thing you're working on if you're super excited about it. Hold on to that excitement until it literally kills you, because it's gonna burn like a hole in your heart. You're like, I got to show people this. That is the feeling. Your motivation's not gonna work for you because you have a disorder. So take that feeling of like, oh my God, I'm going to like literally explode if I don't show this to someone. Okay, well, still don't. And use that to propel you to finish. And by the time you know it, you will have had like 5 or 6 of those moments, and you can use those as a false sense of motivation. But yeah, I've gotten better over the years where now like I can sort of half mention things before they come out if I've already been working on them a lot. But even then, like, there's always a risk. And that's why I'm always just kind of like slow to tell people about things, because I'm just like, I don't want to fall into that little trap. I really don't. Someone said this is real AF advice for ADHDers. Thank you. No problem. It's helped me a lot, honestly. I'm a really productive person nowadays. Actually, like, shockingly productive. Like, how many videos have I put up this year? Hold on, I'm literally going to look because I don't remember. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna go to my content page. So I put out at least 50. Okay. Oh my God, there's so many. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Yeah. I've uploaded 61 videos this year. And that means I probably went live about 60 to 65 times. And we're only halfway through the year. And that is quite literally just because I have a bag of tricks. That's all. It's not because I have the actual motivation and discipline that a normal, I should say neurotypical person would have to like, well, work. It's more so just like everything about my workflow is about tricking myself into doing things again. For me, it's very useful to be able to just do what I did yesterday. That's another major ADHD hack for me, is like starting things is so deeply overwhelming, but actually repeating things is very, very nice for my brain. It feels really good. And so if I can start things enough to where I'm just convincing myself that I'm repeating them, it's a lot easier for me to do it. When I went live today, if I was just thinking to myself, I have to, I don't have to do anything, but I'm like, if I have to like stream today and I have to talk about this, yeah, I'm excited, but like I'm anxious or whatever. I'm just like, D'Angelo, you did this on Saturday. Just do it again. Do it again. That's what I do every single day. It's the same for me with my running. Do I actually have motivation to go out and run every single day? Hell no. I hate running. But it's literally just like, hold on, I can do that again because I did it before, and there's comfort in things that repeat. Now, I mean, obviously this has pitfalls. Like when things come and mess up my routine, it can be harder for me to recover from them. But for the most part, it's been a nice happy medium, I feel. I really, really do. Someone said, I wish I could trick my brain, but it can't be tricked, unfortunately. That is where medication and psychotherapy also are helping. I'm not going to lie. Someone said, this is life-changing, not going to lie. Yeah, no, but that's really what it is in my mind. I don't know how to tell people this in a way that they will truly believe, but I can't do things that I'm not focused on. I can't. That was the big ADHD elephant in the room when I was a child. And I would get a lot of pushback from the adults around me for not working on this or not working on that. And I didn't know how to explain to them, like, I feel this feels really unfair. It kind of feels like you've put me in like a weighted suit and you're asking me to jump higher than all of the other kids. I can't. And one thing that was really helpful for me is instead of trying to force myself into being someone who can be self-motivated, I've actually accepted it will never be true. I'll never be able. I've given up. I don't care anymore. We all know that I can't do this. So I've started focusing on, well, what can I do? For some reason in my mind, I can totally do things that I did yesterday. I can usually, because it feels like safe to me, I guess. And so it's like, I can try that again, even if the motivation is not there, whatever. And so, yeah, it's about for me, realigning the things in my mind to where it just feels more like things that I can do. And then that's when I sort of realize I can do everything. There is nothing I can't do. I can post 61 videos in literally 6 months if I want to. And I have. And it's not because I had to find the motivation, because I can't. Fun. Someone said medication is life-changing. It makes you just able to do things. Yeah, no, but like also, dog, who knows where we would be without that, though. Someone said, please make a short out of this so I can share that with friends. You are putting this in the best way, and I've never been able to do that. God, I need to get better at like clipping my own content, because I have literally no shorts out of the only shorts I have are the ones I'm wearing right now. I have no shorts out of my live stream content for some reason. And people have even been asking me, proof of somebody asking, people have literally been asking, like, D'Angelo, like, you got to clip this, you got to clip that. And I keep forgetting to do it. But maybe if I actually finally get a shorts workflow going, that can be one of the first ones. Because I agree, it can be helpful. Oh man, someone said, I love my meds, but they're making me nauseous lately. My stomach hurts so bad right now. It's literally just like choose your fighter. It's like, well, which one do you want? The insert side effects or the insert the other symptoms? But yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. That's probably the worst part, is that like they're not perfect solutions, but they are solutions. I'll take that. I'll take a solution any day. Someone said, it's like because ADHD meds make me so productive, but they give me horrible migraines. Bro, on God, I low-key feel like, and this is just my opinion, we don't talk enough about side effects. Now listen, I understand why, because you don't want to scare people out of medication. Having side effects is just a fact of life if you're a medicated person. However, bro, I've had the worst, like most unimaginably annoying side effects from just various medication that I've taken or tried over the years. I've also had those really, really painful moments where I have to stop and ask myself, like, is this even worth it? And then the answer is yes. Usually the answer is yes. I also have to remind myself, like, you can literally just keep trying things until they work. There also may be a form of medication that does help you and does not have as severe side effects. But yeah, no, like the meds, bro. Sometimes it's like, well, I'm just gonna get beaten down anyway. But oh man, it sucks, bro. It really can. Someone said I can't take new meds because side effects give me hella anxiety. Brother, that's the number one blocker for me. With like, historically, that has been the number one blocker for me with like meds and remaining consistent with them, or like changing them or whatever. I actually get a lot of pushback on this from people in my personal life because they were trying to help me, obviously, and they're like, oh, D'Angelo, you need help. But I didn't know how to explain to them, like, sometimes though, medication does make me anxious. I do have, unfortunately, an anxiety disorder, and when that feels as though it's conflicting with the very idea of taking medicine, that is literally the most destructive thing. Like, that literally makes me want to scream, where I'm just like, okay, great, we finally have something that works. But the problem is I have too much anxiety to want to try that because I'm terrified of literally insert a bunch of things that I would be perfectly fine and have been managing, thankfully. Yeah, no, it can be really hard to even like be as receptive. It can be hard to be as receptive as you, I don't want to say should be, but can be when you have conflicting things happening. Sometimes I can't take ADHD meds because I'm way too sensitive to stimulants. I'm probably ADHD though, so I rely on psychotherapy and accommodations. Psychotherapy is like chef's kiss for real. But yeah, no, like medication's pretty much the answer for, well, so many people, maybe most people or almost all, but also there are complications. It's not as simple as like, hey, there's happy pills in a bottle and everyone can take them and be fine. It sucks. Some said it's such a paradox. It very, very much is, but that's okay. That's okay. We're going to thrive regardless. It don't matter if you got your med routine down pat. It don't matter if you're not on nothing at all. I would strongly suggest that you at least try, but regardless, we are all in this and we're going to do our best. So alas. Someone said Qelbree is a non-stimulant. See, that's the thing. You got to talk to your doctor about literally what can help you, or, you know, talk to whoever it is that's working you through this. Someone said they keep putting me on meds that make me gain weight and it's trash. Low key, I feel like we are so we're so bad about this idea of gaining weight in general, of like shaming people for this or pointing it out when people gain weight. And that is literally the reason I will never do it. I will never, ever, ever do it, because it could literally be as simple as somebody's just on a new medication and their body has changed. I feel like in general, part of the reason that people are so hesitant to do this is because people will then turn around and judge you for gaining weight. And then also, first of all, by the way, even if you gained weight for other reasons, that would also just not matter either. If you just gained weight because, I don't know, you wanted to, or you changed your habits or something like that, that doesn't matter either. It's not like you should only be understanding if people are doing this for medical reasons, but like, we're so backwards with this, I feel. I just feel like we're so backwards with this, for real. It pisses me off. And I'll always have like the most mixed feelings about like fat phobia and weight gain, always, just as somebody who has been fat and somebody who is not currently, but also very much views himself as I'm a malleable person. My life could change in any number of ways. I could totally be a fat person again. Like, I just get so pissed off by how it's all treated, and people will be real, they'll be real like cozy with you when they think that like you're skinny or whatever, and they're like, yeah, let's come together right now and be fat phobic and weird. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I literally looks like what you're describing shortly, like just a few years ago. People piss me off really bad. Someone said, can I clip your streams and post shorts like a fan page? I won't block you if you do that. I won't take your videos down. I get copyright notices sometimes and I just ignore them, as long as you're not literally like re-uploading my videos or re-uploading parts of my videos that are longer than a short. Like, I don't really care. Now, I have to warn you, I have to warn you, one day, if I do look into clipping things myself and I run into copyright issues because some of my content may already be online on other people's pages, I'm going to choose my shorts channel over the existing ones. So if someday you run into a problem, don't worry about it. I'm not gonna like take you to court or anything, but I feel like right now my motivation to even get started with that stuff is pretty low. It really, really is. Someone said stop stigmatizing weight fluctuations from meds, please. Yeah, no, it's not. It's not something. I don't sound like I'm stigmatizing it. It's more so just like I feel like people stigmatize it, and that's what pisses me off. Truthfully, it sounds like a lie in a society like this, but there's just literally no sort of moral component to weight at all. It is neither good nor bad to gain or lose any amount of weight ever. It's not a good or bad thing to look like anything, really. Obviously, people can talk about health all they want and should, yes, even though most of this is just concern trolling, I'm not gonna lie. But like, it's just facts about people. And if you are not the people in question, then the facts don't matter. It's not your fact to worry about, is how I feel about like weight and stuff, especially like just, and who has a perfect relationship with any of this anyway? I think that's the thing that bothers me so much. Someone said repairing a relationship with food is exhausting. Yeah, no, like this isn't an easy thing to do at all. And then now I need to watch what I'm saying, but like, there's just a lot of ways of being unhealthy, and they don't all look like being at certain weights. That's all I know. I've had a lot of times where I've had the very same people I've witnessed being fat phobic are like, bro, you are unhealthy. What are you doing? You don't have what? You just think that you have this figured out because you don't look a certain way. You've assigned this moral component to this person's external self, when in reality, like internally, like, bro, people piss me off. It's so silly. It's very silly. Someone said I gained 35 pounds from quitting smoking weed and going off my birth control, and went from being told I look sick to being told I'm fat. Absolutely ridiculous. It's basically like you can't win. And then obviously that's complicated in many ways by gender and other societal factors. It's just cringe, man. Not like I have to tell you. Someone said my boyfriend is a bigger guy and we eat practically the same diet, but he's like 80 pounds heavier than me. He's more active than me, so it's total BS to judge people purely overweight. Literally, it's just meaningless. It's meaningless. God, it's so silly. But like me personally, I'm not like body positivity in that like positive feelings are a good thing, yes, but really it's body neutrality for other people. If you want to be body positive about yourself, that's fine, and I encourage that for sure. But I definitely think body neutrality of just like, it's literally just a body. It's just the way someone looks. It's not for us to worry about. We don't need to hype them up for losing weight or gaining weight or being thin or being bigger or any of this stuff. Like, that's silly. That's dead. Is over. Leave it behind. I hope this doesn't sound like I'm saying body positivity is bad. You understand what I mean, obviously. No sort of body acknowledgement is useful for others who have not asked for this. That's how I feel. Someone said a positive comment is not better. It's really, really not. And then there's a specific brand. Actually, I might be able to show you this in real time. I might actually really be able to show you this in real time. Remember earlier I mentioned Zara Larson's video for Midnight Sun? There's a specific brand of like jokey internet comments. You see it a lot in like just like pop spaces where people will joke about being skinny. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, here we go. Okay. So they're on a video of Zara Larson dancing, right, to a song that they enjoy, and you're getting comments like "my waist is shrinking" with 14,000 upvotes, when they're literally just trying to say that they like the song My Waist, you know what I mean? And I feel like there was another one I had seen the last time I was on this video. Oh, girlies, my waist is disappearing. And I'm just like, so many mixed feelings about this. So many mixed feelings about like, oh, I'm skinny now as a joke. Yikes. And I'm not even saying the people doing this are intending to do anything or be malicious in any way. I just like, this kind of thing is jarring when you're not in the right headspace, and I guess I'm literally never in the right headspace for this kind of thing. People do this like with the skinny legend thing. Have you ever seen that phrasing? It's annoying. It's cringe. Skinny legend. They talk about Mariah Carey. They will like Photoshop Mariah Carey to be skinnier, which, first of all, what the hell? You're photoshopping real people to be skinnier, even as a joke. But yeah, they will Photoshop like Mariah Carey to be skinnier and be like, yeah, skinny legend. Or they will post photos of like bigger actors or singers and then be like skinny legend. And I'm just like, the skinny legend, my waist is shrinking, all of this, like, I thought that was dead. I really thought like we were going to leave that behind, obviously, because the skinny legend thing was problematic. But then in current year, literally mere days ago, to see people saying my waist is disappearing, I'm just like, wow, we have literally learned nothing. So I don't like that. I don't like that one either. And I don't like sounding like Unk. I don't like sounding like the oldest person in the world, or like some sort of, I don't know, headmaster, boring principal, where I'm just like, no one's allowed to have fun. That's not the point of me saying this at all. I just think when the fun is at the expense of reinforcing, even jokingly, harmful standards, maybe I can't help but have mixed or negative feelings about it. What can I say? Someone said GOP's brought it back, I fear. Well, definitely, just like, first of all, there is literally no stigma for medication anyway, which is what GOPs are. I made a whole video about Ozempic, and I stand by that video. I stand by every single thing I said in that video. D'Angelo Wallace Ozempic. I always have to Google everything because I'm not on the same channel where I put most of my video essays or whatever. But yeah, maybe I have to rewatch it because I did post this a couple of years ago, but I totally stand by pretty much everything I said about Ozempic in this video, which is basically like, it's a medication, and worrying about what other people are doing with you should never be worried about somebody's medical history, I'm pretty sure is what I said. And it is something that is actually classified by the FDA. Oh, I'm talking. Something that is classified by the FDA as being used to treat obesity, etc. But yes, objectively, I feel like hopefully you will hear this not as a criticism of people who take this, because I don't have a criticism of that. A criticism of Hollywood people using Ozempic to reinforce a standard of thinness that was not previously accessible to them. Literally talking about people using this medication for non-medical reasons. I had multiple references in this video of celebrities literally saying like, oh yeah, I needed to lose weight or whatever for this red carpet appearance, so I just hopped on Ozempic. That has done a lot of damage. That did irreparable harm to people's sort of conception of what is normal in terms of body image and stuff like that. And now I really do think it reinforced in a really horrible way, you obviously should be skinny because you can now, is literally what celebrities were saying again and again and again, just using more words than that. And that aspect of it, I think we're still in deep trouble. I think it's still in deep trouble here, and I think it's gotten a lot worse. I'm not gonna lie. One of the few video topics I think has gotten much worse since I talked about it however many years ago. But yeah, no, again, like, it doesn't matter if somebody needs Ozempic for medical reasons. It doesn't matter if the people in your life are taking it. None of that is a problem. That's a good thing. Medication, yay. It being misused by people who admittedly do not need it as a tool to reinforce body image that is not even accessible to most people. Huge problem. Doesn't mean the medication's bad. Does mean like, oh crap, we're so screwed, bro. We're cooked. We're literally cooked. It's so bad. Reading chat. So it's all this coming back is low key, bringing me back to my teen years, not in a good way. I see that a lot. Okay, so I was a child in the early 2000s and the 90s, but especially the early 2000s. However, a lot of my millennial homies and my Gen X homies are telling me essentially, actually I think it's mostly millennials, are saying like, yo, I was basically a teenager. I was peak person being marketed to, like, how long ago was the early 2000s? And things are literally worse now. They're getting worse. They're worse than they were. I think back in the 2000s, I vaguely remember, obviously, like the low-rise jeans and all this other crazy stuff. And like, yes, no, I don't remember because I was too young to know what body image meant, and I didn't realize how so much of 2000s culture was about enforcing again, like skinny as the ultimate or whatever. But I have seen so many people be like, yeah, that was at the peak of all of my problems, and now I watch things get better and then go back downhill, and I'm like, that is literally scary to me. How are we moving backwards? This seems like something we should continue making progress on. Nah, man. Someone said we're not bringing back heroin chic. Yeah, no, maybe don't. Maybe things are bad and some things shouldn't be trendy again. Maybe not, man. Oh man. Reading chat. Yeah, no, it's just a lot going on now. Someone said they're worse now because social media exists and it amplifies everything. True. Someone says classism too. Skinny is rich, fat is poor. The thing about that is that could be extrapolated into a larger conversation about how really class is the issue with all of these issues. At the end of the day, I think I will always be ready to agree with someone that the concept of class even existing is probably the problem in some way. I feel that way about all of the ills that are plaguing us currently. I really do. Sometimes it does feel like it's coming back. Yeah, but hopefully now it's coming back and we're all a bit older, a bit wiser. I mean, I'm not like 3 anymore. So I know enough, hopefully, to not like get enmeshed in all this stuff. But yeah, no, it's scary, chat. It's freaky. It's odd. It's strange. Someone said, as soon as I saw the Y2K aesthetic coming back, I knew we were going to go back to these horrible body image standards. Literally, why didn't y'all just pick the good part? Y'all literally could have just picked the fun part. There were fun parts to it. It's a nice aesthetic, obviously. Y'all did not need to be like, oh, and also the body image. We fell off, bro. We literally fell off. Reading chat. Someone said fat people have always existed. We have different bodies. Fat phobia is 100% found in racism. Racism, classism. It's an interesting thing because like it affects everybody, obviously. Who if you're fat, you are a target of fat phobia. But it's so like all problems deeply enmeshed with other things. Like to try to disconnect fat phobia from misogyny, I don't think is possible. And for me and my experience, like disconnecting it from racism, I don't think you can do that. You can certainly try, but no. It's very weird. And you just gotta be careful, bro. You can't let harmful narratives like persist even in nicer spaces, like spaces that are purporting to be nice as well. I'm trying to think of how to say this, but I'm just gonna say it. Fat phobia in the LGBT community is not cute, and it does exist. It does. Come on. I don't even think anybody's disagreeing with me, but if you are, you're probably the problem. I think it exists like everywhere, obviously. But there are like special and exciting LGBT versions of fat phobia. And I'm just like, wait, what? We're doing this too? We're not doing this, by the way. I don't accept that at all whatsoever. So yeah, it all needs to be uprooted and excised, literally exorcised from society, like the plague that it is. It's not cute or useful anywhere, and I don't want to see it. I don't care what version of it we're getting. I really, really don't. Someone said fat phobia in the community is crazy. It absolutely is. I'm like, what are we doing? First of all, who's we? We. Is this French all of a sudden? What are y'all doing? That's what I would like to know. For real. But that's okay. As long as we keep calling it out and not normalizing it, I think we will hopefully move in the right direction. That's how I feel. Someone said gay skinny is a thing and it's not good. Yes, it is, and no, it's not. Yes, it is a thing, and no, it's not good. Oh, nah, man. Mess. Absolutely mess. Reading chat. Someone said no fats, no femmes. Yeah, that's crazy as hell. That's crazy to have. It doesn't matter what kind of bio it is. It don't matter whether you put that on Tinder or Grindr or any of the other ones. So just essentially say that you don't want fat people is like, what? You know, low key. See, now I'm feeling a little controversial, but like in general, when it comes to dating, I'm not gonna lie. I always find people's I don't know what it is exactly. What's fat phobia? Their unwillingness, I suppose, to date a fat person, or like they just really want to let you know that they're looking for a specific kind of person who's not you, I guess. That really bothers me. You know why it bothers me? Because I am the same person that I always have been. I am literally like I'm a pretty active person, honestly. I've been running on average like hella miles and doing fun stuff and stuff like that, but like I'm the same person that I always have been. And the idea that there was at one point where someone would have looked at me and been like, oh well, I want to date you because hey, you're fat. I'm just like, wait, what did you just make up an alternate personality for me because of how I looked? And people will like they will use a lot of language like lifestyle or like, oh, I just want someone who's active. I just want someone to match my lifestyle. I want to be able to go on hikes and I want someone who can do that with me. And I'm just like, how does that equal skinny? How does that equal you're saying you want one thing, but I could have done those things with you at any point. Yeah, no, I hate the way that some people can be about like, yeah, I wouldn't date a fat person because I am an active person. And I'm just like, what? So what happens if you start, by the way, dating somebody and they are fit visually to you, and then they change because of something out of their control, which happens all the time. It literally happens all the time. In fact, I swear to God, most people I know in my life, their bodies have changed. Like, I'm not over here keeping tabs, but I barely know anybody who has looked the same the entire time I've known them. Or the ones I do, they stand out in my mind as anomalous. So you're dating someone because they were matching your lifestyle or whatever, but then something happens and they change. Are you not gonna love them anymore? Or are you gonna be like, oh, I love you, but we can't make it work? Like, where? I have never understood that one, dog. I've never. So I'm so glad you're singing out loud. It's just fat phobic. They gonna tell you it's a preference. They gonna tell you it's a preference. And I'm like, you can have fat phobic preferences though. You really can. And you do. Womp womp. Where do we go from here? Someone said it's such a shame. I hate to see happen. You're missing out on a whole person. This is literally an entire person that you have written off because of something that doesn't matter. That's wild. And it starts getting ugly when you start thinking about the assumptions that you're making about these people without knowing them. Like, what are you assuming, that this person doesn't care about themselves or that they don't want to? Like, I hate it. wrap it up, and toss it out. Kobe. It's a no for me, dog. Someone said weight is only one small factor in an overall massive picture related to self-care. Exactly. But yeah, no, I'm happy as I am now. I'm happy as I was before. And by the way, if you are a long-time viewer of my content, no matter what I looked like on the internet, because I've been multiple different weights, I've always said the same things about myself, which is like, I am God's gift to earth. I am pretty. When I was pretty with a really round face, I was still pretty. And now I'm pretty with whatever this is. Hey, I'm just glad to be here, honestly, and will continue to be such. I really, really will. Someone said, I still hear people discuss racial preferences in dating, and I feel like we live on different planets. It's so jarring. Jarring is a great word for that, because I'm just like, oh. Okay. Okay. Someone said there are limits. To be fair, this argument is a little silly. What argument? Essentially, that like making assumptions about somebody's lifestyle based on the way that they look and then not wanting to date them is fatphobic, even if it's just your preference. I don't think it's silly. I feel like you could say that there's limits for sure, but at the end of the day, any assumption that you're making off of somebody's self anything based solely off of you not even knowing them, it must be rooted in a preconceived notion. It's not possible to believe or assume anything about a person without speaking to them unless you're biased. you have an implicit bias. If you look at anybody and you think something about them for whatever reason, that may be a bias that lives in your head, and that's okay. For sure, for shiz, but like then turning around and acting on that and making that other people's problem, I think is just a bad thing to do, personally. I really, really do. Someone said people think having types is an infallible, non-society driven part of their mind is hack science. Yeah, it's kind of like I'm trying to think of an example. We'll use a statue so I don't get in trouble. Like the Venus de Milo, right? That's a great statue. I can't pull it up because I think it's nude, but it's kind of like society commonly saying, hey, look, the Venus de Milo is the most beautiful statue ever. And we're like, yeah, that's true. Do it again. Hey, look, this is the most beautiful statue ever. And we're like, yeah, I agree. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then 20 years of this and you're like, what's your type? And you're like, oh, I want a Venus de Milo. I want a Greek god. I want this. And you're thinking it's all like y'all don't even know what y'all's type will be if you were truly free, to be honest. Yeah. You can sit here all you want and tell me that it's biological, which I really hate the word biological, by the way, for so many reasons, because I feel like it's used to justify a lot of really, really sketchy, dodgy, and dehumanizing things. But anyways, you can use the word biological all you want to describe your preferences, but they are society driven. And I would love to know what people's type would be if actually we didn't live in the box of being told what was beautiful. Because I feel like we would all be some freaks for real. And I would be so happy to see it. I feel like society would genuinely be so popping if everyone was like, nah, actually, I like this. I feel like people will find each other so much easier. People would feel so much freer to be who they actually are. Yeah, I shudder every day for the society aspect of it. But yeah, whoever in chat said people think it's internal, but society also plays a part, I would have to agree with you, because you can also, this might come like shock horror, you can look at other societies and see that the beauty standard is different. I feel like that should tell you everything. I could literally, like, I'm not gonna, because then we're getting into the weeds. I could just pull a different culture and be like, hey, look at the people that are considered beautiful here. They will literally look nothing like the people that are considered beautiful here. We will look nothing like the people that are considered beautiful here. So it's like, this is a farce, and we are literally falling for it, dog. We falling for it. Reading chat. Someone said, what I find attractive kind of drifts and flows with the media and stuff I've consumed. The fact that you can even like acknowledge that, in my mind, shows some self-awareness, I feel, which will go a long way. But yeah, anyways, totally free to disagree with me on that. That's cool. I just, like I said, I will have forever mixed feelings, because I just feel like I've been everything. I'm an active person. I've been inactive. I've been big. I've been whatever. And like, I am how I am now. But People make assumptions off of what I would think based off of my lifestyle. And I'm like, bro, I don't care. I don't need you to run all these miles with me. That's boring. Let's have fun in other ways, I feel. Someone said Trey, the explainer's video on ancient Minoan fashion was really cool, but I read that as ancient minion fashion and I got scared because I thought you were talking about the little minions from like Despicable Me. But I'm glad that that's not what that said. I'm glad that that's not what that said. Someone said you can reprogram your brain. For example, facial hair on women can look really cool. Dog, it's not just that like you can reprogram. Honestly, it's literally just like you realize how much of a coward you were. Or maybe I'm just talking about myself. I used to have very like boxed in views. I just believed what I was told because I had nothing else to go off of. But then you start seeing people doing things that are more interesting and you realize like, oh, that wasn't even a beauty standard. That was cowardice. Y'all were afraid. Y'all were truly afraid to show me something really out there. That's how I feel when I see things that are like against the norm, which I see a lot. Which, by the way, what's the point of norms? Like, anybody can have hair on their face, but like, or hair anywhere. But like, anytime I see things against what is a societal standard, I'm just like, I'm so glad that I'm trying to be more open-minded now, or I was just gonna miss a bunch of stuff. Someone said there's 7 Minion movies. 7? No, there's not. Wait, have I already searched this? There are absolutely not 7 Minion movies. How many Minion movies are there? I literally do not accept that. Like, if that's the right answer, I'm gonna crash out. There are 7. There's literally 7. If you count the Despicable Me movies as Minions movies, which they are because they're literally all throughout the movie. So there's Despicable Me 1, Despicable Me 2, Minions, Despicable Me 3, Minions: The Rise of Gru. Wait, that's not 7. Hold on. That ain't 7. So is this an old... Oh. This was updated 9 years ago. Wait, where are the rest of the Minions movies? Oh, there's Minions and Monsters and Despicable Me 4. Oh my god. Why? Listen, Despicable Me, I love that movie. I'm having a bad day. It's about time that I get my way. Despicable Me 2, I actually enjoyed as well. I'm not going to lie. Despicable Me 3, they kind of lost me. I'm not going to lie. Minions, I don't remember watching this ever. And Minions: The Rise of Gru, yeah, I definitely haven't watched that, even though I don't know why that took me to the soundtrack. I didn't really realize that there was a 4th Despicable Me movie, and it's only an hour and 14 minutes long. What? And then Minions and Monsters? What? Yeah, anyways, that's crazy. Someone said kids love the Minions movie. Nah. I mean, yes. But you can't blame this all on kids. It be your grandma who loves the Minions more than any child ever could. It's your aunt on Facebook. It's your uncle Joseph. I don't know why I always use the word Joseph when I can't think of a name. Posting Minion memes. There is something about older people and Minions. They go crazy, go stupid over Minions, and I don't understand it. What is it about the I'm probably quoting a tweet right now, but like, what is it about the Minions that is literally like catnip to somebody who is like 50 or older? It's wild. It's wild. Someone said they gave Gru a kid in the 4th Despicable Me. Well, he basically already has kids. Like, he has like a baby. That's wild. Someone said my little sister is autistic, me too, and she loves Minions. I mean, to be fair, the Minions are cute. Like, I don't feel like they have done anything wrong. Are they a little oversaturated? Yes. 7 movies, 3 of which are standalone Minions films. That's a little wild, but as long as your sister's happy, I'm happy. That's all I know. Someone said the new Minions movie was fire. See, it sounds like I'm missing things. I don't know. I can't be scared of I shouldn't be scared anymore of Minions. I need to get older. Sometimes I'm 25, but I kind of love Minions sometimes. I closed my heart to the Minions franchise, but I think it's time for a reevaluation. Or maybe I'll watch the movie and I'll be like, no, I was right. I'm never watching this again. And both things are valid. Either one would be okay. Someone said Minions trigger my echolalia to heavens. It's quite annoying. Well, because they constantly are doing it to each other. They're always like saying the same thing or vocalizing the same phrases. I can see that happening, and that does sound annoying. Someone said give the Minions a chance. Give the Minions a chance. That's my campaign slogan. Vote for me. Someone said this is reminding me of my minion furry OC. I should draw her again. You should. This was literally a sign from God. God being a minion. Chat, do you think God is a minion actually? Because I feel like that would explain some things. I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna write that down. I really am. Someone said Despicable Me 1 came out 16 years ago. I'm not even reading the rest of that. That's hate speech. Minions went through a full life cycle of funny to cringe to ironically funny to unironically funny somehow. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's literally hate speech that you just said to me. Despicable Me came out 16 years ago. Nah. No. Goodbye. We're done. We're not done. I'm not ending the stream yet, but don't feel bad, chatter. You're just speaking a fact. But like maybe someone said you'll believe God is a minion. I remember that Ariana Grande song. It was great. Someone said almost half my life ago. Someone said 16 years is crazy. Dog, 16 years is not it. That's not good. It's not good for all the things that were really important to my childhood to be 16 years ago. Oh no. Oh no. Someone said the pandemic. Oh, a mod said the pandemic was 6 years ago. See, the mods think that they're not going to get banned. And that's what's so funny to me. You think that you're going to sit up in here talking about the pandemic was 6 years ago. 6 years ago? Was it actually 6 years ago? I guess it was. Nah, it's over. It's over. It's over. I will ban the mods and shut the entire chat down before I let people sit in here and try to tell me that the pandemic literally just happened though. It literally just happened. What has happened since the pandemic? Nothing has happened since then. You can point to the US presidency and also many other horrible world events and their terrible repercussions. I'm not trying to ignore any of that, but literally nothing has happened since the pandemic. Everything has just remained the same. So you could tell me it's been 5 months and I would believe you. But 6 years is just kind of icky to me for some reason. Someone said my coworker told me he was 13 when COVID hit. Sorry. That's not even funny. That's not even funny, but like, this is the thing where I'm just like, am I actually old? Because I know that I'm not. I know that I'm not. But what do you mean you were 13 when the pandemic hit? I literally cannot wrap my head around that. Is this how people older than me feel when I say I was 3 when 9/11 happened? Me bringing up 9/11 is crazy, but then again, so was a global pandemic. Is that how you feel? Because I feel like I'm starting to relate to you. So someone's saying that they were like, is that like a middle schooler? When the pandemic happened. I just like, what are you talking about? That's not true. You can't be an adult now. No. Someone said, yes, it is. Now I realize how it feels. I literally feel like I understand. Dang, bro, what am I supposed to do? Someone said I was 15, 16. Well, chat, there's nowhere for me to run. There's nowhere to hide. I'm pretty sure 22. 23. No. Yeah, why am I lying? No, I was 22. I was 22. And the pandemic was very long. So Obviously I turned 23 as well, but yeah, I certainly wasn't 13. I wasn't 18 and I wasn't 19. I was at my big age of 22 at that point. Someone said I was 21. See, that to me tracks. Like, yeah, we were all 21 during the pandemic. Obviously some people were still kids, because I remember like they had to do school via Zoom and people were crashing that. I made a whole video about that, but nah, this is just off. Something's off. Something's screwy, I feel. Someone said me, who was 25. Oh, so you 30. You 30. Dang. I'm coming for your spot. I'm going to be there soon. I be looking at everybody in their 30s and I'm just like, the joke is truly on me. I don't make fun of people in their 30s anymore. Because, well, I'm turning 28 next month. But so much of my adolescence, and yes, unfortunately, even my early 20s, was spent making fun of people in their 30s. It was my favorite pastime. In fact, I'm borrowing this verbiage from a tweet, but if I found out that the world was ending, the probably very last thing I would do is go on the internet and make fun of 30-year-olds one last time. I think probably a lot of that was just fear manifesting as, like, I don't know, ironic detachment. It probably read as insecure as it actually was, but I'm just going to tell you right now, it's an actual trip to have spent so much of your teenage years just viewing 30 as like, well, the end of your life. I'm sorry. And then now you're like, oh, I'm literally gonna be 30. Like, I'm actually gonna be 30. I will be 30. I'm gonna be 30 nothing, and then 31, and then 32 in like 4 years. Just a little bit. What happened? What happened? Now, someone said 30 is not bad. It's part 2 of being in your 20s. Yeah, that's the thing. Now that I'm here, I actually feel like I can finally start my life. That's the thing that I didn't realize when I was younger. I was thinking like 30 is the end of something or whatever, because I was just, bro, I was an idiot. Honestly, I was. That's the thing. I got so mad when I was a teenager, and yes, even in my early 20s, and people would tell me that I was like dumb because I was young. I was just like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. And you know what? I honestly think multiple things are true. I wasn't stupid when I was a child. I really wasn't. I wasn't even dumb, really. I wasn't dumb when I was 20 something. I was an adult. I wasn't dumb when I was a teenager, but also I just lacked perspective. And I think the world calls that being dumb, which is a little unfair. But yeah, I still have a lot of validation or like vindication. I'm still mad at the world for deciding that I was stupid just because I was literally 21. But also, now that I will someday be leaving my 20s behind, I do realize like, oh, okay, the amount of perspective that I lacked as a teenager and also someone in his early 20s was crazy. Crazy as hell to have that little of a grip on things. It just wasn't fair for anyone to expect me to have a grip on things because there was no instruction manual. But yeah, when I look around at people nowadays who are like 5, 6, 7 years younger than me, but still in their 20s, I don't think of them as like dumb. I don't think of them as stupid. Sometimes I do think to myself like, probably at some point this person will have more perspective. They'll have more time in their mind to work with, because you can apply it to things. You can be like, I know what it feels like to wait for something for 15 years. And then you can do that. I mean, some of us have done that in our 20s, but you can be like, oh, I remember there being like 7 years between the last time 2 things happened or whatever. Oh, I said 6, 7. No, I didn't mean to say 6, 7. Stop. I swear to God. When did I even say it? I wasn't even listening to myself. Oh, I said 6 or 7 years younger than me. Okay. every single stream on the internet is literally just a challenge to not say the phrase 6'7". But anyways, like, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I'm caught between worlds because I'm still in my 20s. I'm still a young person and I'm still dumb, but also I was never dumb and I never really will be, I guess. It's just silly. Someone said patronizing the youth is still BS. Maybe you won't believe me if I say this, but as somebody who is 27 going on 28, when I look at a 21-year-old and I think to myself that they're lacking perspective, it's not in a patronizing way. It's really not. It's not because like I think that they're less than or like they should be babied or whatever. I just honestly think about myself at that age mostly. I just think about who I was. I was fully a person. I was completely a dude, an entity that existed, and I had just as much depth at that point as I do now. It's just there were certain things that people were expecting from me that I just simply couldn't have given them because I had nothing to compare it to and I didn't know what they were talking about. And like, that's not something to hold against people. It is something I do keep in mind though when I speak to people, because it is just it's kind of wacky sometimes being like, oh wow, I'm literally this person was just in high school and I can't expect everything to be the same as I would from somebody who wasn't just in high school. It's kind of interesting. I don't know. I'm sure me saying this, maybe it just sounds really cringe and and like embarrassing or even like, I don't know, off-putting, but I realize now when I was younger, that's how a lot of people were with me. And I was reading it as like, I read it really angry. I really hated when people were like that. I'm just like, can you just please stop making references to my age because they don't matter. I'm still an adult just as much as you are. And that was true for sure, which is why I never will tell somebody like, oh, you're young, even if I'm thinking it. But I can't stop myself from thinking it. I can't. Someone said age poll. We can do an age poll. Here, I'll do one right now. Okay, so pick. Oh, wait, I'm typing on the wrong keyboard. Pick your age range. Okay, how do I. Okay, so we'll do less than 20. We will do 21 through 29, I guess. I have no idea what. You know what? I'm just gonna name it 20s. We'll do 20s, 30s, teens, okay, 40s. How do you spell 40? I feel like I always want to put a U in 40, but there's not a U in 40. Oh no, I can't do any more options. Uh-oh. I can only do 4 options. Okay. Chat, if you're watching this and you're over 50, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to erase you. I know that you exist because I can't see my demographics, but I guess right now it's just teens through 40. So go ahead, be free. I've started a poll. If you're out of your 40s, you can just comment it, I guess. I thought I would be able to put more than 4 options. Okay, so this is kind of what I thought it would be. Yeah, the vast majority. Well, no, it's not the vast majority, honestly. It's really just half. Half of the people answering this are in their 20s, which could mean anything from you're my age to you were 13 during the pandemic. Well, not that young. But like, I did expect 25% of the chat to be in their 30s, obviously. I'm also I'm headed there myself. 6% in their 40s is really fun, and I appreciate that. And then 11% in their teens. I would imagine that those are mostly older teens, probably, because my content is kind of dry for like. I feel like my content's dry. I'm under no illusions that I'm like stimulating enough to be interesting to like very, very young people. But maybe, I don't know, maybe you are. Maybe you really are. Someone said, I'm in my early 20s, but I've been watching you since I was 17. That makes sense. Yeah, a lot of y'all maybe started off on one bracket and then moved to another. Someone said 40s gang represent. Let's go. Last time to enter 20s for me, so I'm taking every opportunity I get. Yeah, let's I'm asking. Usually everybody says nobody asked. I asked. I care that you're still 20 in your 20s temporarily. Someone said 19ish, but I've been watching since 13. Let's go, bro. I'm in my 20s. I was 13 during the pandemic. See, it could be some of us. I was in my 20s during the pandemic, and I'm still in my 20s. So who really knows? Someone said, as a teen, it's insightful, but then again, I'm not super into TikTok and Instagram because it's too oversaturated. Yeah, I guess it depends on your interests. Like, if you like that brand of short form content, my content's going to be kind of mid, I guess. But if you're just more into like longer form, whatever vibes, I'm talking myself up so big right now. Longer form, whatever vibes here on the D'Angelo channel. Someone said you have a bright pink background. I promise you're very stimulating. I feel like I'm stimulating in a specific way. Yes, I try to be. I try not to be boring. You could be anything in this life. Why be a bore? Yeah, that's how I feel. But yeah, okay. 10% of y'all said y'all in your teens. 58% of you said you're in your 20s. 26% of you said you're in your 30s. And 6% said you're in your 40s. And then probably also there are people who could be older than 40 who are either... Some people don't even like interact with the live chat. I think for a lot of people, it's too much for them. Like my mom, who is older than the 40s, she appreciates y'all, but also y'all are a lot. And she basically just stays away from any sort of like live chat thing because, I mean, come on, chat, it can be kind of scary. And I feel like I tend to find that to be more common behavior with people who are older. So yeah, if you're watching my content and you're like, wow, the live chat thing is really not for me, but I appreciate this person talking about whatever, I appreciate you. I really, really do. Sometimes I just like watching someone talk to themselves, and you are a score. I do be talking to myself quite a bit. I'm happy that I was able to do it professionally. I got very lucky. I got hella lucky. Okay, wait. I have a question for you. I have a question. Does anybody talk to themselves to a crazy degree, though? I'm not gonna lie. For some reason, people see talking to yourself as crazy. I don't think it's a crazy thing to do. I think everybody talks to themselves, probably. Maybe you don't, and you're like, you're misrepresenting. I think everybody talks to themselves, but like, I have entire conversations, and I will literally have both parts of the conversation with myself, where it's like, I will say something. I feel like I shouldn't say this, because then you're going to be like, no, D'Angelo, that is crazy. I will say something, and then I'll be like, oh no, actually, that's not right. And then I'll be like, oh yeah, you're right, I forgot, to myself. Not out loud all the time, but sometimes even in my internal thought process, I'll be like, oh, I've got a stream today, what am I doing? And then I'm like, oh, D'Angelo, like, it's Monday, you don't stream on Mondays. And I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. Who did I just say that to? What am I talking about? Who was right? It's me, obviously. I don't think that I'm two people. But I do think... I've said it out loud, chat, and I fear I may sound crazy. But you know what? It is what it is. Someone said I do that too. Thank God it's not just me. Every now and then. Okay. This one might be a little too out there for you. I don't think most of you are going to say that you also do this, but sometimes I say same to myself. And I don't know why I do that. Like, for example, like I will think to myself, I'll see somebody's outfit and it's really dope. And I'll be like, oh yeah, I really like that. And then I'll just think like, yes, same. Me too. Me too. What are you talking about? There's only one you, and you already said this. I literally say same and me too to myself, and I don't know why. Someone said same. Someone said you lost me with that one. I knew it was going to start diverging. I don't know why I do this. I'll be like, oh, I really love the song. Yeah, same. I think for me, it's like, I'm not actually talking to myself. It's like an afterthought agreement. It's basically like, I like the song. I really do. But instead of I really do, it just manifests as so do I. So yeah. But I'm good though. I'm so good. This is so normal to me. Someone says since starting IFS therapy, I do that too. It's literally just not weird to me. It really isn't. Someone said D'Angelo Wallace talking to D'Angelo Wallace. It's me talking to myself from one YouTube channel to another, obviously. Someone said, I think the first part in my head, and then I say same out loud. Same. Yeah, that's literally what I do. I'm like, oh yeah. Or I'll say, oh yeah, out loud. That's the thing about me that like anybody who knows me actually in real life will know. I'm a proud answering my own thoughts out loud type of person. So if we're just sitting around, we're just doing whatever. I'm just over here on my phone, and I'm just like, oh yeah. My friends know at this point. They shouldn't even ask me what I'm referring to. I'm not saying this to be attention seeking. I'm not like trying to signal anything. If I want their input, I will ask. I just probably said that because I was literally talking to myself. I think when people get to know me the first few times I do it, they're like, what? And I'm like, oh, nothing. And then they're like, are you pranking us? But it's to the point now where my friends just ignore me. When I'm just over here like, oh, okay. Or, true. I don't know. Dog, and maybe I should stop. Maybe I should stop, but I'm not going to stop. Someone said me, but with real. Real's a good one. Real. Oh my gosh. That's a mess, bro. Someone said, what mental illness is that? Because I do that too. Maybe for me, that's just called having mental anything, having a mind. That's my biggest illness and the biggest L I ever took. The true disorder was consciousness. ADHD, anxiety disorders, PTSD. Nah, I think where I really went wrong was when I went online, not on the internet, just online as a consciousness, and I said, "Hello world." It was over. That was a form of disorder for me. Womp, womp, womp. Someone said, what was the percentage for 20s? 59%. Oh yeah, I'm going to close it. 10%. Wait, let me screenshot it first though, because I like this data sometimes. When I get my demographic data, it's usually just based off of people watching my videos as well, but that's not always the exact same as people in the live chat. Someone said have a brain. That was where I went wrong. Why? And really it's on me, because why did I choose to do that? You know, when I was like, oh, I desire to be born. I wish to exist. Remember when I did that? Me neither. Me neither. Oh gosh. So at work, I'll be trying to solve a problem and I have to talk out loud. Well, sometimes hearing it out loud contextualizes it differently than if it's only in your head, and it can bring you clarity. Or me anyway. It helps. It really, really does. Someone said sometimes a really out-of-pocket thought or really bad joke comes to me and I just say, okay, brain, out loud. My partner has heard that many times. Okay, this everybody should relate to, whether you neurodivergent or not. But like, do you have that? Obviously you do. This is just called being human. But like, your inner worst person. Like, I'm talking about they are literally looking for the worst possible thing to say. Not all the time. I don't think I have a constant worst person dialogue, but every now and then I'm just in a situation and my brain will just be like, oh, you could say the worst thing imaginable right now. This would hurt so many people's feelings, but it would be funny. I don't do it anymore. I as an adult person, I don't do this. I was really bad about this when I was younger. As a teenager, I would have done anything for a laugh. But yeah, sometimes I'm just sitting around and I'm just thinking like, oh God, it would just be too easy. But then I'm like, what? Of course it's easy to be a bad person. Duh, that's why everyone's so bad. Don't do it, D'Angelo. And then I don't do it. But yeah, no, like, don't love that. I really, really don't. Someone said it's hard to resist because sometimes I just feel like people walk into it, but that's bad to say. That is bad to say. Obviously, somebody like is not walking into an opportunity to get dunked on by me. That's a really small way of thinking about things, and so I've let go of a lot of that, but I've never completely turned it off, I guess. Someone said I hate her inner mean girl. I'm like, ew, we ain't like this. Literally, it's not cute. That's the thing. When I was younger, I literally thought it was cute to be like mean. I really did. It's not cute. It's just not. Actually, it's really cute to be kind, especially for no reason. And I know that sounds like the most trite, like boring Hallmark thing imaginable, but I'm not gonna lie. It is literally so good for you and pleasing. I think pleasing is the word I would use, to just be nicer than you have to be. Not to loser weirdos, by the way. You should cut them off or be mean to them on purpose. I do think it makes the world better. But in terms of just situations where you can just be nice for no reason, for nothing, and you choose to do that, oh, that just, I feel more like attractive when I do that. I feel like smarter and lighter, and like I'm just like, wow, I can't believe how light this feeling is. I could feel like this all the time. Who knew? Someone say it costs nothing. Literally cost nothing. It costs nothing to not say something horrible to someone. It costs nothing to say something nice if you're being honest and you really feel that way. Okay, point it out. Like that's what I started looking for and patterning off of like just being that really nice person. And I'm trying to be more like, I'm trying to go for that opportunity more. You know what I mean? Anyways. Someone said because media loves to make mean and cruel, sexy people that look cool. Yeah, I mean, the villains are always cooler, to be honest. But like in media, someone said Regina George Halo effect. Very much that, yeah. Someone said I want to stop thinking. Sometimes it's exhausting. You could just go mushroom mode temporarily. You know, I'll leave you with this thought, even though I fear this one's going to be a weird one for you. But you know, every now and then I like to imagine what life would be like as like Pando or a giant mushroom system. For example, I don't want the AI to answer for me. Okay. Yeah. So like the largest living thing on Earth, for example, is like a big fungus. It's like 3.5 square miles. And it's literally just like all one thing. I don't know where the pictures are of it or how you're able to like, I don't know if we're able to actually see this, but apparently it's in a forest and it's just miles wide and it's just there. It just exists. People, I don't know. Or it's like the same thing with like Panda, which is a really, really crazy thing. It's a system of trees, like 47,000 trees. You can see a bunch of them down here, but actually it's just one organism. Panda is just one thing. All of those quote unquote trees are better thought of as branches. It's just one root system. And sometimes I think to myself, like, something was lost in translation. And yes, I guess since I am a person, I'm going to do my best to try to be a good one. But if I really think about it, do you ever just feel like you were actually supposed to be 47,000 trees? I really think it's like, if it was literally like Judgment Day, and whoever is responsible for reincarnation is like, all right, D'Angelo, you can be the most loved human in the world. You're next, as if I've earned that. I'm probably going to be a bug. You can be the most loved human in the world. The hopefully not richest person, because in this version of the world, we wouldn't need money or capitalism. But you can have the most joy and the easiest life ever. Or you can be 47,000 trees. I'd be like, sign me up. Why? I'm surprised you haven't made me 47,000 trees already. So yeah, next time you think to yourself, like, God, I'm just so tired of thinking, just stop for a moment and just imagine life as like just hella trees, honestly. That's all I've got. Bye, everybody. I know that didn't make no type of sense, but neither does logic or consciousness or rationality. Goodbye. All right, stop the stream.